One X-Wing? Great. We're saved.
I'll look around until I found someone who laughs like you.
Hail, hello, and welcome everybody back to the Star Wars that we love. Feet Drunk3P0.
Look like twins.
Yeah? I'd consider myself probably the more handsome out of the two, but
Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah, that's fair. How you doing, buddy?
It's been a great week. Looking forward to this one.
Well, this is the final step, right? If we continue on down this path, it'll be the farthest we've ever been from George Lucas at any time. This is the finale. What we've been looking forward to and dreading for, God knows, it's been what, like 12 hours since we started this podcast. This is it.
As far as movies go, yeah. I still
How
think
you
we
feeling?
could deep dive into characters and stuff.
We can do that. We'll take a vote tonight. We're going to take a little bit of time to talk about, I don't know, what do the people want to see? What do we want to see? We can.
I think
come
we
up
should
with
do a
some-
giant recap of all of them next week.
just a massive finale,
Yeah.
6-hour stream.
And like what they meant for people and like what they meant to like overall, like what Star Wars meant to so many people.
Ooh,
You know?
that sounds nice. The Star Wars that we love. What would you name that? The things we've learned.
I don't know. You should have already had a perfect name for this podcast. It should have been on a separate playlist. This was your moneymaker. And
I don't even have it.
I know.
Maybe I should just like write a song or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Will you sing?
No.
Maybe a dance, like an inspirational dance. Show us some of your Latin culture or something. I don't know. Okay. All right. That's enough jibber jabber. So yeah, here we are. We're at the finale, Return of the Jedi. This is, at least for me, and I think for Jay as well, one of the most influential, if not the most influential Star Wars movies. For me, there's two ways you can look at this. You know, you can look at the cinematography and the way it was shot, different things like that. I tend to view movies kind of more on the emotional spectrum and like what it did for me and what it meant for me. And when I think about Return of the Jedi, certainly for the original trilogy, this is the most important movie out of all of them. Because this is the climax, this is finale, the coup de grace, when everything comes together or falls apart, depending on how you view it. So this is an extremely important movie to me. What about you?
It's like one of my favorite. I hate to say I like it better than Empire, but I really do. I really love Return of the Jedi. I love it, man. And I also have an original Revenge of the Jedi poster.
Oh, nice.
It is not in my. I used to have it in this room, but I moved it.
So to anybody who doesn't know, explain that. Revenge of the Jedi, the original movie
Revenge
title.
of the Jedi was the original name for the film, and then George Lucas was like, you know what? Jedis don't seek revenge. So we got to change the poster. But the poster was made, and it was out there. You know, there were some that were
It was on the
out
TV
there.
spots, too. It was on some of the original TV spots.
It was like a last-minute change of, Jedis don't seek revenge. We got to change that, so...
He originally had a Return of the Jedi, and then somebody had told him it's not poppy enough, it's not gnarly enough.
It's a revenge, and then went back, yeah.
Yeah, and so we went back to the Return of the Jedi, which thank God, because I like that so much more. But
There
I
is
love
a
he
yeah,
did come
I
back
agree.
to it.
There is a Revenge of the Jedi. There's some Revenge of the Jedi posters that are signed by a bunch of the stars, and that thing goes for gazillions of dollars, man.
I can't imagine. That's so much money.
I got mine. It's a little beat up, but I got it. You know, I got one.
Nice.
So
Is it signed?
no, I wish. It was a little beat up. It was a few $100. But it was beat up. It was taking a ticking, and I got the card, you know, the certificate and everything that goes with it. So you know what else on that poster that's a little messy? Man, we might have to pull one up. The lightsabers.
While you're doing that, I'm going to say what's up to the chat. Hello, everybody. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. What's going on? I'm going to try to shout everybody out. If I lose track, I apologize. Justin, good to see you. Valientes, Darth Thanks, good to see you. Raging Rhinos in the chat. What's up? Star Wars Dog is here. King's Advisors, Paul Taylor, good to see you. Great Pilgrim, the Orlando Shadow Dragon. What's up, man? Daisy Blossom Flower Child, always good to see you. Lady Marine is here. Lots of familiar faces. Legion Amal is here. What's going on? Dat Boy Steve, Brian W, Mike Porter, Steele Johnson. What's going on? Georgie Girl is here. Good to see you. Ronnie screaming, ah, as always. Good to see you. KG is up in here. Sassy, what's going on? Who am I missing? Zacharod is here. Good to see you. Benjamin Martindale, what's going on? Who am I missing? There's so many. There's some people who just comment like a lot. Leia Rose is here. What's going on? Felicity Poobell is here. Good to see you. Spirian is here. What's going on? Flying Frisch. Good to see you, buddy. Double AA. Or do you just say double A? I don't know. Brandon Alvarado's here. Good to see you, buddy. There's a super chat already. My God, I'm so bad at this, Jay. Teach me how to be better. Obi-Wan Fangirl, not TV show, for $10. Apparently, Return of the Jedi 2 billion release nationwide in theory. Am I reading that wrong? Apparently, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi 2B is being released back in theaters.
Oh, to be released nationwide in theaters
for
April
the 40th
28th,
anniversary.
2023 for the 40th anniversary. Watch it smash box office. Dude, that would be amazing. I would love it if it just set records again. That would be fantastic.
I'm probably going to go see it.
Hell yeah, I'm going to go see it. Are you kidding me?
To watch it in the theater with the popcorn and the candy and the icy.
One, now we got those sound
and hearing the music.
Yeah, that would be
Latino
absolutely
Slants
insane.
is the thumbnail. What's wrong with the thumbnail?
Well, I'm going to get there, don't worry.
I haven't.
But Obi-Wan Fangirl, good to see you. I don't know that I've seen you before in my chat, so thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So I get this so much, dude.
Did you tweet this out?
No, I didn't. I'm a terrible YouTuber. Doesn't X-Wing look like Pascal Mando?
Thumbnail doesn't look bad.
It's terrible. But every time I tried to re-crop you out, it put a bunch of dust all over your face. It was really weird.
Did you tweet this out?
Dude, what? Well, I used to, but every time I put a tweet out now, you just make fun of me, so I stopped tweeting. I'm a victim of internet bullying, so. The thumbnail. Polly, why are you making fun of me, bro? Is there something wrong? Valientes is here. What's up, Ivan? Valiant Archer is here. Avast. I don't even want to get into Mando right now. I'm having too much fun. Matt Rissman is here. What's up, my brother?
Scott, thanks for buying the book. I got your message.
Oh, nice. Scott Westbrook for $3.21. Hope you have a good stream. Good to see you, Scott, man. Appreciate having you here. Okay. I got to move on. I got to get through these. Curtis D of Montana, what's up? And I think that's it. We got to the end. Nice. And what's up, Paulie? Good to have you here, Mr. Latino Slant.
You show my screen. We were talking about the movie poster. One of the big oopsies on the movie poster was Luke had a red saber and Vader had a blue one.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Kind of goofed it.
That's such a sick poster, though.
It's sick. It's awesome. It's huge, man. The thing is, I don't know if I should go get it, but it's in the royalty room.
Oh, you have like a? Do you have like a?
I have that. I have
trophy chamber.
A good friend of mine gave me the original episode 1 poster. I freaking love it. I should have brought that to get you and McGregor to sign it when I was doing the. I didn't even think about it.
The rounds.
Yeah.
Did you get to talk to him?
Yeah.
He seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hate the hesitation there.
He was Very nice to Gina. They were in a movie together. He came up to me and asked me if he could speak to Gina. I was like, yeah, Gina knows you. Like, go talk to her.
He had to get permission from you.
So, well, I was standing. I probably look like a bodyguard or something. Then it's like, and he's a small. He's a little guy. He's not very big. And so they hugged and everything. It was cool.
Nice.
Cool. Then he talked a little Star Wars. I cannot say what he said. It's funny.
Let me get a DM on that real quick. One of these days. All right, everybody. Well,
he was talking about the Kenobi series.
I'm sure. We won't delay any further. Let's get into the movie. Let's just start it out. So, I mean, you know,
the movie begins. We are in a standstill. We left Empire Strikes Back. Luke missing a hand. Dude. Han's been captured. Lando is now pilot of the Millennium Falcon, which we already knew that he piloted it before. He's with Chewie. He's like, we're going to go get that bounty hunter. We didn't know. From what we thought, they were going to chase Boba Fett before he got to Jabba, you know? So the movie begins almost like A New Hope began with R2-D2 and C-3PO back on Tatooine, walking in the desert.
It's the Death Star first, isn't it?
The very first scene was the Emperor. No. Darth Vader.
It was Vader. Yeah.
Coming off. And he's like, the head officer there, he's like, the Emperor is not very pleased with you. And he's like, we're doing all we can. Yeah. He demands the impossible. He goes, well, then you could tell him yourself.
When he gets here.
Dude, the lines for Vader were so good. Because the guy's like complaining and he's talking and he's this and he's that. And he's like,
well, we shall redouble our efforts.
Just tell him yourself. Yeah. He's like, the Emperor is coming here? Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll double our efforts. Good.
I still think this is the best Vader suit. And it's funny too, because like in the beginning of the movie, he's so shiny and he's so clean, especially in that hangar scene. Like everything is just reflecting off of him and he looks so perfect. And I think this is the first time that we're really starting to see Vader as like less of a war dog for the Empire and more of a like, don't F with this guy. He's at the top of the food chain and he only answers to the Emperor.
Well, there's so much in that opening scene because he's basically, it's the first time you see another Death Star.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, what? Like, what is going on here? And it's all broken. It's not fully put together. And then you have Vader basically explaining, hey, man, he's not as nice as me. You know, the Emperor ain't as forgiving as I am. We just saw Vader choke out half of his like commanders in Empire Strikes Back. And now you're saying the Emperor is coming here? You know, and Vader's like, I'm here to make sure that this thing is working by the time my boss gets here.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, we got to double our efforts.
And then we should have gotten what I really think, and it's just like
that's why I'm here, Echo Base.
This is a criminal offense to me. Something that I think should have made it into the movie. You get the deleted scene with Luke making his lightsaber, right? But if you've ever listened to the audio drama, not like the audio book, there's the audio drama, the radio audio drama. And it's so awesome because Luke is sitting there trying to put his lightsaber together and he like bounces the focusing lens off and he can't figure it out. And he's opening up the instruction book and trying to figure out what's going on. And then he finally realizes, he goes, Yoda, did I forget your lessons already? There is no try, right? Do or do not. There is no try. And so he gives himself to the Force and then just sticks his lightsaber together. Well, in the extra
scene they filmed a scene of him like kind of off and
you can see his cloak is actually brown in that scene as opposed to in Jabba's palace. It looks black.
That's the thing. Like those are some of the beautiful mysteries that we love to talk about. How did he get a new lightsaber? Where did it come from? How did he build it? And those are the things that you build the side stories off of. Yeah. How does a Jedi construct a lightsaber? How did Luke do it? And that, I mean, for what it's worth, that is a beautiful business model to make money because you're in love with what's going on here. You want to know because you love these characters. So then they're like, hey, buy this book. This is how Luke built his lightsaber on Tatooine. Of course, give me here. whatever it
That's the
takes.
funny thing too is a lot of time that stuff comes out of necessity because the only reason we got the green lightsaber is because of the blue sky. Bam, could have had so much money. People don't think ahead, but yeah. So we
I'm
wind
just
up back
saying
on
that
Tatooine.
to me, that's what that's what we are missing in a lot of today's mythologies. Like George set a lot of these things up for perfect ways to add on to the extended universe to
Right.
learn more about what's going on. And then, and we were all there for it. And it wasn't like, to me, like, it wasn't like these side stories that changed the story. It was a compliment. It's like more icing on your chocolate
Yeah,
cake.
you
So
don't detract or deconstruct, and that's the biggest one for me. Deconstructing heroes and deconstructing existing characters is the bane of existence for pop culture. Deconstructing characters is the worst thing in the world. I hate it. Hate it.
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's again the EU setup. The EU that's, I guess, no longer with us, but it is with us, is set up perfectly to complement the 6 films that George puts together. Even the games, things like that. They never went in there to disrupt the holy,
The
trinity
Trinity.
of
Yeah.
the original. It's like none of that, because honestly, the prequels are supposed to complement the original 3 because it tells the story of what's about to happen. And they never did all that stuff, but George just left enough, like, in those films to where it's like, if you want to make a game this way, if you want to add on, you want to do this, if you want to tell a little story in between Empire and Return of the Jedi, it'll work this way, as long as it doesn't mess up or change anything. That's the original. But now, like, under Disney, they constantly screw up their timeline, constantly change things, like, and we won't get into that. I promise we won't get into that. We're gonna stick with the movie. But like, even with Mando, they're like, yeah, Baby Yoda was training with Luke for 2 years, and you're just like, huh? And so it's like, you never really had that under George. So you got the droids. They go into Jabba's palace. We have never been there. We don't know what's going on. We don't know where Luke is. We don't know. And this is the beauty of storytelling. You're like, why the freak are they there? Why would you send droids to do that, right?
Well, and don't forget to, like, one of the most amazing things is you can see the progression of the sets. This massive door, and then you have the eye who pops out and says
They
the
had more
greatest
money.
line
Yeah.
in Star Wars history. Hatuma Pinky. It's still my favorite to this day. To this day.
That's
And then
probably why you
that
don't-
big
probably why you
door
don't know
opens,
much
and we're
about
like,
Star Wars, but yeah.
what's going on? Like, why are we here? Why are the droids here? What's going on? What is this place that's Jabba's palace? There's a giant, like, weird looking spider droid thing walking in the background. There's these big giant green pig things, and this, I won't say the word, but I was rewatching the movie today with Mrs. X-Wing, and she called him Phallus Man, but Bib Fortuna with the
giant brain.
yeah.
Had a giant brain. That's all I could think of.
And the Huttese, the amount of Huttese in the beginning of that just makes me so happy.
So yeah, and also, like, you could see the different personalities. R2D2 was like, R2D2 was like, I know what's going to happen. Like, just chill, C3PO. Like, I know what's gonna happen. Don't worry. And he just marches on in, and C3PO's like, what are we doing here? So they release. He goes up. There's Jabba's palace, but before he gets up there, right? They're doing the song and dance. Correct?
You talking about Ula?
Not that part, but when the dancer gets killed, or it's no, that's after Luke shows up, right?
So Ula dies. So Ula dies before
Luke. She gets put in the Rancor pit,
and we get the R2 showing his hologram,
right? And so Luke comes off like, very, I got you. Please give us Commander Solo. Please do this. Please do that. And he's like humbled, and then he does the unthinkable. I'm gonna give you these 2 droids if you give us Han Solo. And everyone's like, why would Luke do that? What's wrong with him?
So does
can't give-
3PO. He's like,
Yeah.
what?
He's like, that's the wrong message, buddy. Boom. If you need to read those, I totally get it.
Stop playing. Yeah, you're playing the wrong message. You're playing the wrong message. Yeah, I want to hit these guys really quick. Curtis D. Montana, at the end of ESB, Lando is wearing Han's clothes. They are strikingly similar. I've never gone into the deep dive of actually comparing them one to the other, but they are nearly identical, aren't they?
I have no idea. I never really checked out the clothes.
Darth Wizzy Wizard, may the whiz be with you both. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for that. So yeah,
remember Evan?
Oh yeah, I have to play my little video. I kind of caught that in passing. Evan Martin, what's up, my brother? You get the bading-a-ding if I can find it. It always takes me way too long. I appreciate you, brother. Welcome to the family. Make sure to use those emojis. I haven't seen nearly enough X-Wings in here. Nearly enough X-Wings in the chat.
So he gives away the droids, and we get our first look at Han in Carbonite. He's like, no, I think I like Han Solo right where he is. Yeah. And Han is like a photo on the wall, man. He's like a decoration. And so the droids are taken away, and C-3PO becomes the new translator, and they're like, what happened to the last translator? And it's like the droids being like ripped apart in the back.
Yeah, 88 is doing the hot foot on the Gonk droid, burning him up. He's still, and this is gonna drive me nuts, but I don't remember the number for the droid that was actually talking to him. He's like the KitchenAid mixer head. Yes, will suffice.
He's like,
how many languages do you speak?
You're a feisty little one, but you'll soon learn some respect.
Yeah.
Take this one to the sailing barge.
Yeah, I have use for you on the sail barge.
Yeah.
So then they go back up, and then we hear a blaster noise.
Mm-hmm. And then it gets all crazy, and then it's Chewbacca. Chewbacca has been taken prisoner by who? We have no idea. And they're like, how much for the mighty Chewbacca? I'll give you 10. And he's like, no, you'll give me 50. He's like, no. He's like, what makes you think so? Because he's holding a thermal detonator.
I did a
Boba
breakdown
Fett, dude,
on that.
You see my man Boba Fett, like hot on action, man. Like he's ready to go. And then the personality of Jabba the Hutt just comes out. This kind of guy is my kind of scum, you know. It's like,
yeah.
So, and then he's just like, no, I'll just give you this much. That's it. And then they agree, and he puts his grenade. You know, we don't know it's Leia yet. So, puts the grenade back, and 3PO's like, he agrees. Oh.
Thermal detonator.
Yeah, okay. I know. Thermal detonator. It's crazy. So much happening right here. And as a first time watcher, you're kind of like, how the freak did Chewie get caught? Like, what is this? The droid. Luke just gave away the droids. Jabba's not doing the deal. Chewie just got caught. What the heck is going on over here? But as they take Chewie away, Lando bumps his head. I don't know if you ever caught that scene. And he kind of pulls down his face mask, and you see it's Lando. So you're like, okay, Lando's there. You don't know what's going on with that, but he's in disguise.
I'll bring that up later too, because there's a line once they get on the sail barge that I never even realized. But it's funny from this point, basically until the end of the Sarlacc pit, I feel like is where this movie suffered heavily from the specialized editions.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut the specialized editions out for some of this stuff. Chris asked where my Boba Fett is. It's over there, man. I have it, Chris. Don't worry.
What Boba Fett is it?
Return of the Jedi. Chris Coran in the chat for $2. Says, where's your Return of the Jedi Boba Fett? He gave it to me as a gift. I got to set it on the shelf.
Nice.
It's nicely sealed up.
Nobody ever sends me nothing.
You display too many toys, so people think you have everything.
Oh, I'm gonna empty out the shelves tomorrow, man.
And you got a Razor Crest. Like, this guy doesn't need anything. He has a Razor Crest.
I can't believe I bought that and then they blew it up. Thank you, Chris Grant, very much for the $2. I appreciate it.
Maybe at the end of the show, Paul, remind me. I'll go off camera and try to dig it up. But I don't like taking stuff off my shelf. But so now we see Lando, but we're all still confused. You know, we don't know what's going on.
Why is Lando here? Why did he give away the droids? Who's this bounty hunter? This crazy bounty hunter?
How did
got
Chewie
no idea
get
who
caught
this
of
is.
all things?
Yeah.
So Chewie's in jail. He got taken away. This is the second time they used Chewbacca as jail bait.
Poor, he never even got a medal.
I know, man. The second time. So he has. See, they used him in A New Hope, and now they're using him here.
Yep.
So then it goes to nighttime, and everyone's asleep, which is really weird to see Jabba sleep. He just kind of sleeps on that.
He doesn't move.
Slug. The crazy thing about this whole thing is when you look at Jabba the Hutt, you're kind of like, how is this guy in charge, and how does he have power? Like he can't even move. You know what I mean? And it's like, at first thought, it's like, how does this? And the puppetry for Jabba the Hutt was amazing.
Yeah.
Because no CGI has ever come close to how cool Jabba the Hutt looked in Return of the Jedi. It took 3 people in there to make that thing come to life. It's freaking amazing. And that should be at Galaxy's Edge. There should be a Jabba the Hutt. You walk in and pay homage, and you can get a picture in front of him and all the little people around there. That would
be sick.
Yeah, it'd be freaking awesome. A giant Jabba, and just let him move a little bit.
They'd put Boba Fett sitting on the throne.
Actually, at Disney, they just have the throne. They don't have anybody sit. You can sit in it and take a picture.
What? Where?
At Disneyland.
Disneyland? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's there. I did a whole video on it on Park Hopping. Thanks.
At Disneyland or Disney World?
Disneyland in California.
How did I miss that, dude? What?
Well, when's the last time you were there?
Like last year?
Yeah, well, you missed it.
Yes.
I don't think it might not still be there, but they brought it out to for the Book of Boba Fett.
Gotcha.
I think they had one in Disney World. I didn't even care to see it. CGI Jabba is irrelevant. I mean, I wonder where that big puppet is now. You know, so
dude,
it's
in pieces. It's got to be in pieces. I mean, it could be at the ranch, I suppose, but I feel like that would have deteriorated over time.
We can rebuild it.
We can rebuild him. Yeah, they had it built. So I think it was Kenny Baker was sitting in the tail with like a little oar to make the tail move.
Yeah. I have a photo right here. If you want to share my screen, see, I come prepared. Unlike the host.
Wow. Why do I bring you? You call me, and by extension, all of my subscribers fake Star Wars fans.
I've never said that. So here it is here.
There's little Kenny Baker.
There's the guy rowing the tail. There's the 2 hands. And then there's the dude underneath.
Yep.
And then some guy's got a remote control on
for the eyes. Yep. So incredible, man.
I love it. And that is better than any CGI crap we've ever gotten. So
agreed.
So it's all dark and everyone's asleep, and that bounty hunter looks at Han Solo and begins to push buttons, and deep unfreezes Han, and we see that Han is struggling, can't see, he's freezing to death, he's got a sickness. And this is the beauty, again, of great storytelling. So now already Han has got problems. Like he can't function at 100%. And then you hear the voice.
Carbonite blinding.
It's like, your vision will return to you in time. You know, it's like, who is this person? And he's like, who are you? She takes him out.
Someone who loves you.
Yeah, someone who loves you. Leia. Da, 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 da.
Such a good theme, dude. The Han and Leia theme is just like it's so good.
It's perfect. It's top tier Williams.
Yeah.
So then he's like, we got to get you out of here. And then,
They've been watching the whole time.
And they got their hands over C-3PO's little mouth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It opens up and he's like, I know that laugh, you know? And then Han goes right into scoundrel mode. And he's like, Han, I'll pay you triple. You're throwing away a fortune here. Don't be a fool. So you see Jabba's character, which is awesome. No fear. The guy's a freaking slug. He's a freaking slug. And yet he has no fear. Right, he's in total control of everybody bows to his will. I don't know how as a slug because
money, bro. The Hutts.
I know, but man,
everything.
still, it's like, how do they? It's just wild to think that someone that can't move is in control of Tatooine and stuff like that. But I get it; it's money, so
it's crazy what money can do.
I agree. It's just something that always crossed my mind.
Yeah.
That they control all the gambling. So there's that. But. So they get caught, and Han gets thrown into prison, and Chewie's like loving on him and everything, and it just shows the. I love that in this short moment that we are with Jabba the Hutt. We've heard about him in the other movies. In this special edition, they put him in A New Hope, which it didn't really show too much about him. But it shows that, like I said, he had no fear. He's full of pride. He didn't want to take the extra money, and he. It just showed like how power hungry and prideful he was. He's like, no one's gonna tell me what to do here. You know, you think you could buy me off, but you're not going to. I'm in control. I'm in total control here. So it's pretty awesome. You got a super chat by Shellbag, my dude, Navy veteran. And you're muted, X-Wing. Such a great YouTuber. I swear.
Yes, buddy. I don't know what it is. It just keeps happening. First time here, saw Jay's tweet. He's an awesome guy. Buy his book. Also, I was wondering if you still twerk for the camera. I
don't know nothing about that.
What have you told people?
Did I miss something?
I do not. No, those days are over. Portland was a long time ago. Okay. What's up, Raging Rhino? Good to see you back. So yeah.
So then it happens. Chewie's like, he's petting Han, and Han's like, I'm all right, pal. I'm all right. And then we get top tier. Luke shows up. We see the hooded person. We kind of assume it's Luke. I assumed it's Luke right away. He walks right in, does a little force push here, a little force push there. You know, puts a little chokehold. The big brain person, Bib Fortuna, and he's like, "You will take me to Jabba now. I'll take you to Jabba now." Walks into Jabba's palace, and every teenage boy's dream is right there on Jabba the Hutt.
He doesn't know it's his sister yet.
Princess Leia in slave bikini wear. Whoo! Carrie Fisher was freaking fine.
It's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be.
Freaking fine as all get out, man. She was freaking fine. She talked about that too in some interviews where the front part was always wide open and you could see everything. The people that were controlled, the way she was laying, she would get aggravated with it. She's like, the people that were controlling Jabba could see my whole boobs. So
that's such a Carrie thing to say too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Smoking a cigarette. Take a picture, why don't you?
God
rest her soul.
Yeah, she was. It was perfect. So then, so imagine Luke. Luke's walking in, Leia's in a bikini.
Yo,
3PO's in the back. R2's nowhere to be found. Where's Han? Where's this? And it's so funny to me because I think, and you could correct me, Luke was just gonna come in and be like, "You're gonna give Captain Solo to me, and we're gonna be about our business."
Why? So why do you think he didn't do that?
He did. He took his hood off and he's like, you will bring Captain Solo and the Wookiee to me.
Mhm.
And he was like, ho, 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 ho. He's like, your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me.
I don't feel like he really. I don't think he put his heart into it, man. Or is this just another like Toydarian? Like
Just
your
like
Jedi
Watto,
mind
man.
tricks don't
Yeah.
work on me.
Exactly.
Okay.
But that's kind of neat that we learned that, because the beauty of George Lucas storytelling, again, if the mind trick worked on every single person,
That's game breaking.
then they could do it for anything you know what I mean? Like anything
Yeah.
you want, you could just do it. So it's like, I love the fact that George put a limit on some of these powers with certain creatures and stuff like that. I love it, because then it's not OP. Because then you can't go back and go, why didn't he just mind trick everyone? And then
Yeah.
then the movie would be over, right?
Force heal.
I wasn't gonna go down that route, but exactly my point.
Yeah.
Exactly my point. Force heal, whatever. But yeah. So anyway, so because what that does in storytelling, it makes the heroes not all powerful. Mary Sue, Gary Stu, whatever you want to call it. They're not all powerful. They've
Gary
got
Stu?
issues. Yeah, Gary Stu is what
Never
you call
heard
a
of that.
man that's like a Mary Sue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you have that, and it makes our heroes look vulnerable. Like, okay, now how are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? So he's just like, when things didn't work out, he tried to pull the old Vader and pull the gun. He pulls the gun. He gets ready to blast, and Jabba's freaking out and hits the button. Boom.
Luke, you're standing on a yeet.
Yeah. This whole time, though, it's like, you're wondering about lightsabers and stuff like that. And we haven't seen the lightsaber yet. And that's why they didn't show the construction in the original cut.
Would have given like too much away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that was something that I thought about. Like, if they did that scene prior to him going into Jabba's palace, we would know that there was some big secret plan going on, right?
Because then they're like, well, he just made his lightsaber. Why doesn't he have it? Like,
Right.
what's going on? So that probably was a good. But we've all watched Return of the Jedi a million times. So then when you add it later, you're like, that's so cool. So,
Yeah, I agree. It does add to the suspense of kind of that beginning of the first act.
So he tried to keep it as much of a mystery. Luke gets knocked down into the pit, the Rancor pit, and everyone thinks he's gonna die. So also that fell is one of Jabba's faithful pigman soldiers, who raised his hand so Jabba wouldn't get killed, which also shows who Jabba is. Didn't care about his little henchman, just like, you fell.
No such
Thanks for
thing as
saving my
loyalty.
life.
Yeah.
But we're gonna watch you get eaten. So off they go. Pigman thinks he's gonna get saved. He goes to the window.
He runs to like the window. Yeah.
He's like, and the Rancor, which was such a cool. It was a hand puppet.
I'm so glad they didn't do the suit. 'Cause
And
if you watch the behind the scenes, they tried to make the suit work. They had a big dude in a suit, and they were going to try to shoot it that way, and it didn't work. And they were like, you know what? We're just going to do. It wasn't stop motion. It was puppeteering, but they sped it up.
And
Or slowed it down, I should say.
Well, it's the way they do it is such magic. It's like the Rancor was a puppet, and then they go to Luke, who's not in the same screen, and then they had to add a little. You could tell, like a little CGI magic to get him in his grip. But even that scene, like it looks like Luke is just being lifted into a big movie theater, a big movie screen to kind of put the bone in his mouth. It's really cool. So the pig guy dies. Luke hides under a little crack, and he beats on the nail. Grabs a bone. Doesn't know what to do. Gets picked up by the Rancor was so slow. You're kind of like, why couldn't Luke just like run around in circles? But that's just a movie.
That's not very fun, is it?
No, he gets picked up and then jabs the bone in his mouth, which makes for a pretty cool scene. Because the Rancor drops him and he looks back and he breaks the bone, and that was pretty cool. And Luke runs to the other side and he thinks he can get out, pushes the button. There's the gate there, and we're set up perfectly. The Rancor goes underneath. Luke picks up a rock, throws it on the button because he has the Force. So of course he's gonna hit that shot.
Every
You
time,
know?
100% of the time.
Kills the Rancor, and the big fat man has a mental breakdown.
Maliki Liki. I hate that they changed the Rancor too, because it was just Patisa, I think, for a long time, and then when the Bad Batch came out, they changed it to Patisa Muchi.
That's the one that gets killed.
Yeah.
It's the same one. See, that's what I'm talking
No,
about,
no, no.
man.
It was like I think it was like the kid of Patisa. I don't remember. I'm not a huge Bad Batch fan, but
this is what I'm talking about. Disney changes these characters because they feel bad for them. So, like in the book of Boba Fett, the Rancor is Boba Fett rides one.
Yeah. It's okay. We don't have to go there. We don't have to go there.
Contradict yourself.
Yeah. It's so stupid. Did Jay wear that costume for Halloween? The fat man with the hat? I could pull it off well. You didn't have a shirt on. I could pull it off well. Yeah, so Luke takes a sigh of relief, and they're going to get executed.
Yeah, I was going to say nothing changes. Nothing
So
changes.
he's like, get the prisoners. We're going out to the Sarlacc pit. Like,
Han's like, that doesn't sound so bad.
yeah, I know.
You will find a new level of pain as you're slowly digested over 1,000 years. It's like, you know what?
On second thought. But I like it because you get to see Han and Luke together. And the first time he's like, Luke, you can't see. He's like, how we doing? Same as always. That bad, huh?
That bad, huh? That's such a good line.
And he's like, Chewie, yeah, Chewie's the gang's all back together.
And then what's the last? I don't remember if it's right there, or if it's later, where Luke is it that when he says like, you have one more chance to release me, and he laughs and he's like, it's the last mistake you'll ever make.
Yeah.
He's super aggressive right there, and you're like, dude, Luke's got this in the bag. He's not worried at all.
He's like, you're making a big mistake. And Jabba kind of like, poof. Like that. Yeah. He's like, oh, well, whatever. But it's so cool to see the gang back together again, because they were like, Han's like, where's Leia? And it's storytelling. Han's blind, so he can't see.
Yeah.
He's like, Luke, I hear your voice. He's like, how we doing? Not good. He goes, where's Leia? She screams. She's like, I'm here. She gets pulled back on the chain. So now it's like, all right, what are we going to do? They go out to the Sarlacc pit, and, you know.
There's such good lines heading out to the Sarlacc pit. Because Han's like, oh, I think I'm starting to see. I used to see a dark blob. Now I see a bright blob.
He's like,
and
not
Luke's
much
like,
to
you know,
see.
I actually grew up here.
Yeah, not much to see. Bunch of sand.
Yeah. You know, I grew up here. You know, you're going to die here. And
Yeah.
he says, and this was the line that I was going to reference earlier, that like, if you missed the Lando early on, he says, just stick close to Lando. And I'm surprised you didn't hear Han go, Lando's here? Or say something, you know, Lando's, he's just like, oh, okay, got it.
You're gonna die here. I'm assuming that Chewie filled him in on everything.
Yeah, that would make sense in the prison cell.
So
yeah,
not too many people speak Chewbacca. Hey, what's up, Amanda?
Wicked Virtue in the chat for $2. Hey guys, what's up, Wicked? Good to see you here. So yeah, we get the lighthearted conversation on the way to go die, and then we wind up at the Sarlacc pit.
C-3PO bumps into R2-D2 while he's serving drinks, and he's like, "Hey man, everyone's about to die. They're gonna kill us next." Yeah, perfect C-3PO banter, and then it's one of the coolest scenes ever. And every time I went to a swimming pool after Return of the Jedi that had a diving board, I wanted to do the Luke Skywalker spin, grab, you know, and see if I could pull myself up without breaking my leg.
Yep. This is your last chance. Free us or die. And
yeah, that's right.
We get so many iconic characters on that ship too. So many awesome characters.
Luke's in like cuffs, knowing he could probably force them off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, King's advisor, MVP, baby. Look at that,
Lord
baby.
of mercy. King's Advisors with a $50
Fitty.
super chat. My God, man. Thank you so much. Been waiting weeks to send this. Luke sparking up that green lightsaber for the first time is what cemented my love for Star Wars. Coolest
Heck
saber
yeah.
ever. The whole jump trick and flip and catch is just as beautiful. The convo heading you to it is just so good.
It's awesome, man.
Man, I love
Thank
to
you
see
for the
that.
50. Deading, deading, deading.
That makes me want to dance.
You better hit that thing, man.
I gotta find it, man. I got way
What
too
the
many
heck?
videos
You're a
in here.
terrible YouTuber. Deading. I love it.
Oh, so good. Damn, Kings, thank you, brother. It's been such a pleasure having you in the community. You've been such a good friend. I have enjoyed. We were up until like 3 o'clock the other day playing chess together in Discord. Just those are the kind of people you get to meet in this community, man.
I would love to play chess. It's my favorite game.
Big time chess guy, man. But he won best 2 out of 3. He's not to be trifled with.
Big time chess guy. Yeah, I love chess.
It's a
I
gentleman's
used to
game.
play. You go to a Disney Boardwalk and they have chess sets. You sit there and someone will join and you play.
Really? That's so sick. I have a custom chess set that's not custom, I should say antique. And they're all the cast pewter figures, and they're like this big, and they're like 5 pounds a piece. They're big old.
Yeah,
heavy
I have a portable chess set that super heavy pieces, so you can play outside if the wind's blowing and stuff.
Yeah, that's sick.
So it's
I hate
cool.
playing with plastic. I'm not a plastic guy. I don't like it.
So here we go.
Works in paint.
Bum. The music.
Bum.
Luke's looking over the Sarlacc pit. It looked cool even without the new features they added onto it. I
hate the new Sarlacc.
You hate it with the
I
mouth?
hate it. I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate
I
it.
wasn't against it. I wasn't against it, but the new one looked just as good. Like, I mean, the old one, the original one looked just as good. It is what it was. It was a pit in the ground that digested you.
Yeah. It
was.
worked. That's all it needed to be. Like, there didn't need to be a beak that came out through the bottom of the hole. It drives me nuts. Half the mystery was not knowing what's in the freaking hole. You know what I mean? That's what made it scary. And then this big beak thing, that doesn't make sense, because if you fall in the pit, you're in a giant stomach and you get digested for 1,000 years. If there's a giant beak that chomps you, it ruins the whole thing.
I got you. I'm with you on that. You're right. I love the fact that Jabba probably used that multiple times for his enemies.
Oh, 100%.
And like showed it off and whatever. It was like, that was the cool thing. And if you played Battlefront 2 in the Tatooine part, off to the far like left, there actually was a Sarlacc pit that you could actually go inside and your health starts going down.
You die.
But they let you jump out. Like if you were a certain character, like if you were Luke or someone, you could jump out. But yeah, it wasn't like in the main part of Tatooine. You had to like go off to the distance somewhere, but it was there. It was pretty cool.
Dude, that's such a good way of putting it. The new Sarlacc reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors. I agree. It's like the Luke, Mario.
R2D2 goes up, and the filming was great because every time the music was like dun, it showed another person dun. Even like Salacious Crumb got in there, right? Dun.
Was he in the Dun Duns? Was Salacious in there?
Maybe. I thought he was.
I don't know.
And then Jabba giving the orders like Woo-ta, like push him in, you know.
Yep.
So he does the little turnaround, grabs the diving board. R2D2 shoots off. Shoots off the lightsaber, and everyone's like, "What the heck is going on?" He ignited that lightsaber. It was like, it was awesome, man.
That will forever be my ignition sound. Is that green saber ignition sound? He just lights it off, and he does the coolest look at it, and then he just
he like looks
for the fences,
man. And he goes nuts over. He's like, dun, 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 dun. He's just like freeing everyone, and then there's like laser beams everywhere. So now everything's going crazy. People are panicking. They don't know. People came there to watch somebody die. Now they're like protecting their own skin. And then Lando falls over. So he's got to they got to save Lando. Now Lando is definitely the strongest person in the world because he got tied up. He got tied up in one of the tentacles, and they couldn't drag him down, but those tentacles could pull Slave One into the pit, in the Book of Boba Fett. So
He said during shooting, actually, they had like some nails or screws in that tentacle, and one of them like went into his leg when they were shooting that.
Really?
Yeah.
So like that, and that's what we were talking about earlier, is that when you make something that screws up the original plan, and for me, the Book of Boba Fett totally screwed up the Sarlacc pit, totally screwed it up, totally made it insignificant. It was strong enough to pull a ship down. It was strong.
Why is Boba Fett gonna put the cockpit of Slave One in the hole?
Yeah, to look
What
in
are you
it,
doing,
like,
man?
you just throw a scanner ball or something in there to see if it's there. Yeah, I agree. It was horrible, and it made me angry for the people that love Return of the Jedi. It really did. Like, that whole Sarlacc pit scene was just, with Boba Fett, was awful. All he had to do was climb out of it. That's all he had to do. Hit a booster pack or something and climb out. Like, he didn't have to go through all that stuff he went through. But anyway, so you got Lando. So then it's like, we got to get Lando, and then we get to see finally the mystery of Boba Fett. How cool is Boba Fett? He flies. Now you're like, oh crap, this dude can fly.
He's whipping out gadgets.
Yes, he's Inspector Gadget. He freaking hits Luke with the cable and gets him.
Yep.
Right? And then he's about to Luke cuts the cable and kind of knocks him down. Luke goes to the front of the ship while Boba Fett's laying on the ground and defending against another ship with just the lightsaber, mind you. Boba Fett stands up with his gun, getting ready to shoot him in the back of the head. And that's when Chewie's like, hey, Boba Fett. He's like, Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Where? Boom. Hits the jetpacks, flies Boba Fett off into the wall and into the Sarlacc pit.
That's still probably the most frustrating favorite villain death ever.
Boba Fett is one of my all-time favorite characters in Star Wars.
I hate to see him go.
And I didn't mind it.
You didn't mind it?
I didn't mind him feeling like he lost control. He lost control of the jetpack, and it just took him where he didn't want to go. Like, I totally get it. He's one of my favorite characters because when a lot of the books came out after Return of the Jedi, I fell in love with him with some of the stories, like his side stories. And then of course, all your favorite character, you never want your favorite character to die. You never do. You want them to live because they're your favorite. You want them to live. And it just, I didn't think George had big plans for, but he didn't.
Well, that was the thing. He didn't want people to like Boba Fett.
Well, that's the thing too. He also mentioned multiple times he didn't understand why he was so popular.
Yeah.
So Boba Fett made his first appearance in the holiday special as kind of a goof.
Yep.
He was a cartoon. So that was his first appearance in the Christmas special. Maybe that's why. That could be another reason why George wanted him gone, because
he just
George
wanted to erase
that holiday.
memory.
Yeah.
Have you seen the preview for the holiday special documentary?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. Weird Al's in it. There's Kevin James or whatever his name is. What's the Clerks guy? Silent Bob.
Man.
He's in it. Whatever.
It's hard for me. It's hard, man. Because Disney has taken the holiday special and turned it into what they think is a triumph, and
that's the crazy thing, is that it's all over Disney parks. Like, there's red robes and Life Day orbs everywhere, and it's like,
that's the worst thing that George Lucas did.
You can't take this away from us. This is supposed to be like a funny L, not like a
not selling merch over it.
Yeah, ridiculous. So Boba Fett dies. If I was gonna rewrite it, I would. Kevin James is the fat guy from The Fighter, and Paul Blart. Kevin Smith. That's who I was thinking of. If I was gonna rewrite it or do it differently, knowing what we know now, I would probably have maybe you could have Han bump him in his jetpack, like jukes a little bit, and he lands right next to Luke, and then he tries to fly up, and Luke like cuts his lightsaber or cuts his jetpack with the lightsaber or something, and then he falls into the pit, something like that. Or like you could have Luke force push him into the sail barge and it busts his pack.
I didn't mind it, man. I think for me, again, Boba Fett for me is like top 4, easy for me.
Oh, yeah.
I love Boba Fett. I have Chris sent me like his Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. It didn't bother me because it's kind of like this is Han Solo's revenge,
right?
And he just Boba Fett comes off as like he's supposed to be the baddest guy, just like Darth Maul. Like I wish Darth Maul never came back. I just wish he didn't. I just let him die, because death just doesn't. It doesn't mean anything in Star Wars anymore. It just doesn't.
That's a tricky thing. Yeah, that's a very tricky thing. Death in Star Wars is a difficult topic to cover. Chris Grant says, have you seen the white prototype for Boba Fett? It was originally supposed to be an upgraded stormtrooper. Yeah, that was the Ralph McQuarrie, the upgraded stormtrooper. But then Boba Fett, they had him walking around in parades in the white prototype armor, I think in like one of the first parades for Star Wars as well. Which is kind of cool to see. Thank you so much for the 5. Laura Lynn Lentz, Life Day. Lol, hi Jay. Hugs and smooches, hi X-Men. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. That was a little rhyme. Life Day, lol, hi Jay. Hugs and smooches, hi X-Men. Good to see you. Thank you for the $2. So Boba Fett dies.
Yeah, and so again, like I didn't have an issue with it, but I was kind of like, oh no, like it was kind of like that. I kid you not. I literally, there was a time where I was like, they're gonna bring Boba Fett back because he's got too many gadgets. That's the only thing I could get. Like not in the movies, but in the stories. I was like, that is the one death I could see coming back because he's got and I could see him coming back and wanting revenge, like off of Han. And then he dies, and like they have some cool story in a book that you read, and then he dies. Like that's honestly what I was kind of hoping for. But it is what it is. We got what we got.
Makes sense for him, dude. He's suited up. He's got
that's what I'm saying, because he's got the gadgets and all that stuff. And so I'm like, the flame, because then you get a more understanding of what Boba Fett has on his armor when you see Jango Fett with the flames and all the gadgets. So I never really. The funny thing was when Boba Fett went in the Sarlacc pit, he burped.
Yeah.
So it was like adding more insult to injury.
Yeah.
And they all did that Wilhelm scream every time they went into the Sarlacc pit. So now we got to get Lando. Okay. And there's all kinds of craziness. You got freaking Chewie holding onto the toes of Han. Han is literally laying down with a stick. And Lando's got the tentacle around him. Okay. But in the meantime, we have the baddest woman of all while there's chaos going on. Luke has now jumped. The way that Luke took out people was kind of funny. He jumps on the Salem barge. Some dude comes out with a gun out the other window, and he just pulls him. Yeah, like imagine that's you. You're like, I got him. Here he is. Ah!
That's so shitty.
It's like you're done, man. Like that's it. You're done. Like you could have been the hero of the day. You could have been the person that Jabba probably
one trigger pull away
for shooting. Yeah. You open up the window and you're like, where is he? And off you go. Luke crawls up there, and again, George put it in the story that he gets shot in his mechanical wrist to show his vulnerability, and that he also feels pain with that too. I thought it was really cool. So you have him in probably not top tier Jedi form, but he's up there and he's doing his thing. He's blocking laser bolts. He's cutting off guns. People are running. And you see the baddest woman of all, Princess Leia, doesn't wait to be rescued, doesn't cry for help. She's chained next to the biggest gangster in Tatooine. She takes it upon herself to kill Jabba the Hutt, which later on we realized was one of the baddest of the baddest.
Yeah.
Of Tatooine.
Chokes him out with a chain, man.
Like, you don't kill Jabba the Hutt and get away with it. Like, you're dead. Like, that's it. You don't do this. Everybody's freaking out. C-3PO's getting his eye ripped out by that
Salacious
space
Crumb.
monkey. Yeah. And you got Leia just like with everything. She kills Jabba the Hutt. And that's the thing, man. It's like we talk about representation and strong women in stories and stuff. It's like, think about it. She could have sat there and waited for Luke to show up.
Yep.
I'm in chains. Help
She
me.
could have
Use
done
your
the Disney
lightsaber.
princess easily.
She could have done all that stuff. No, she was like, I'm not waiting. I'm freaking Leia. All right. General, princess, whatever you want to call me. Gets him going and kills off Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt chokes to death. He's dead. And the gurgle sound was pretty awesome too. It was like,
she stomped on Kenny Baker's head, by the way. You remember how Kenny Baker was in the tail? When she was jumping over to chomp him, she just stomped on Kenny Baker's head.
good. She probably looked at her boob the whole time.
Oh my God.
So then while Salacious Crumb is eating a droid's eye, R2 comes out of nowhere, gives him a shock, and he flies up into the ceiling and gives him one last blah, 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 whatever he says to him.
I can't do the laugh. It's too loud. I'm going to blow out people's
And
eardrums.
then Leia ends up on deck, and Luke is just instantly like, hey, go to the gun and point it at the deck. Yeah, yep. He's like, you're not standing behind me. You're gonna go and do some work. Go get the gun. Meantime, we've got freaking Lando being pulled in, and he's like, Chewie, hand me a gun.
You're blind.
He's like, what? I thought you were blind. He's like, I got it. He goes, a little higher, a little.
Oh,
it was
such a good
perfect.
scene.
You have the serious stuff going on with the Skywalkers, right? You have the biggest gangster getting killed, and then the little comedy scene, like, that's tucked in, that's just enough, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's just funny enough for this whole scene to make it work.
You know what? That's so funny. I never really thought about it that way. It's like on one side, on the sail barge, you have the Skywalkers absolutely handling business. Like, Leia's choking out the baddest gangster in the galaxy. Luke is just wrecking people left and right. And then you've got Han and Lando on the other side. Like, I thought you were blind. Oh, God, aim up a little bit. Like, Chewie, hold me. They're just like completely in chaos.
But see, that is the beauty of storytelling, in my opinion. And it's like, you can inject enough humor during a serious moment that works perfectly, and that worked perfectly with the right characters. It wasn't Luke making a joke. It wasn't Leia doing something funny. Everyone kept to their personalities perfectly, and it worked for the scene. That's what makes great storytelling. I probably will say that a million times as we talk about Return of the Jedi, because it's so true.
Agreed.
So Leia hits the gun, and it blows everyone that's in there up. I guess, except for Bib Fortuna.
Apparently.
And
he must have yeeted off the barge or something.
They just grab. He's dead. He's supposed to be dead. And they get on the little ship, and they're like, "All right, we're ready to go." And Lando's like, "All right, man, let's get out of here." He's like, "Not without the droids."
R2 just throws 3PO off the side.
They pick up the droids. Off they go. The sailing barge blows up, and the music hits. Dun, 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 dun. And classic Star Wars, the opening adventure sequence to set the stage. They do it. Revenge of the Sith had one.
Now the sail barge goes up in flames.
Freaking awesome, man.
That could have been a whole ass movie.
The tone is set. Yeah. The tone is set, man. The tone is set. And so then they get back to their respectable ships, and Han's like, "Hey, kid, I owe you one." Luke's like, "I can't go with you yet. I got a promise to keep." So we all know what the promise is. He's got to go back and see Yoda. Bib was in the palace.
I thought Bib was on the barge.
I thought he was on the barge too.
I'm finna find out right now. I was almost positive he was on the barge.
I love the exit music too. It's pretty cool.
When are we getting? When are you dropping the album?
Me?
Yeah.
I do it every day. I hum John Williams like every day.
Same.
So yeah, so then we know where Luke's going, and he's like, "Hey man, we're gonna rendezvous, and like I gotta make a promise." And Luke tells R2, he's like, he puts the glove on with the mechanical glove. He's like, "We're gonna go see an old friend." We all know. We all know
Yep.
where he's going.
That's right, R2. We're going to Dagobah.
Yeah. And off they go in that little X-wing.
Who are you calling little?
It's a cool scene because when you get to Dagobah, the X-wing is parked perfectly. It's not in
They
the
messed
mud.
up on that scene, by the way.
How?
In the first scene, the X-wing is like hovering over the pond, and then in the next scene, it's on its skids, parked next to the hut.
I didn't notice. I was emotionally invested in the death of Yoda.
Yeah, Bib Fortuna is 100% on the barge. Stand by. 2 seconds if you're waiting for proof. Although I don't know, does it black out Disney when you bring it up on StreamYard? I don't think it does. Yeah, because I did the whole Mando episode. Why did they add the bird beak to the Sarlacc pit, bro?
I don't know, man, but we're waiting on you.
All right, I'm here.
Aren't you
Put
gonna
your
show
britches
some?
on. Yeah, put your britches on,
All right.
man.
All right.
Bib Fortuna.
Yep.
Yep.
You just wanted to show off Leia,
Yep.
and I thank you for it.
All right, moving on.
I thank you for it.
God
So the
dang.
next scene, you have Luke returning for Yoda. Holy crap, Matt.
Oh my gosh.
MVP Rissman. Woo! Dudding, 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 dudding.
This guy has already done so much for the channel, continues to do so much for the channel.
Yeah,
It's the
he's a
only
good
reason I
dude.
look so crispy and beautiful like I do today is because of Matt Rissman. Despite of how bad a movie Return of the Jedi might be, if they really do re-release it in theater, everyone needs to go and see it. Peace and love. All.
Oh, you
My
didn't like
brother.
Return of the Jedi? Matt didn't
No,
like
he
it.
talks crap on it all the time.
Yeah, that's okay.
Is it?
That's all right. It's not again. Like I love. This is the beauty of Star Wars at its peak, that you can argue and have a disagreement and still send each other $100 and go hang out.
You know what happens to me every time he brings it up and he says, "Yeah, Return of the Jedi is not a good movie." I say,
I will send you to Jesus.
So that's exactly what you're supposed to say.
Matt Rissman for $100. Let's all do a little bit of a dance, a little shake. I love that song. Damn, Matt Rissman.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, man.
So we have Luke at the in Dagobah, and he's like in the form, man. He's wearing all black. I'm loving his getup. He's starting to Yoda's like, Yoda ain't looking so hot, and they start to ask questions. So he's like, "Hey, I'm about to go to sleep for a second." And he's like,
No, it's my favorite. Do I
Go,
look
go,
so
take
old to
it.
young eyes? That's like my favorite one. Do I look so old to young eyes? And he goes, "When 900 years old you are." It was awesome. This was just like, it was such an important moment in Star Wars where, I mean, there's multiple things that occur. One, Luke is losing now basically his last mentor. It's the only person he has left in terms of like his Jedi path that exists left on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Force Ghosts and stuff like that, but he says it, afterward, I can't do this alone. And yet the Jedi are still holding secrets from him. They're still being cryptic. They're still not telling him everything. And I can imagine the frustration. It kind of mirrors Anakin, like that frustration of just like, what's the real story here? Because I'm in the dark.
Yeah.
Yoda posts up in his bed and he's like, "Hey, look, dude, this is the way of things. This is how it's gonna go. I gotta dip out, man."
He goes, I love when he's like, so I am a Jedi. And then Yoda perks up. He's like, oh.
Not yet, sucker. One more thing.
You got to face Vader one more time.
And I thought it was interesting too. And I don't want to skip too far ahead, but you notice that Yoda says you need to confront Vader.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan basically tells him you have to kill Vader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, Obi-Wan been messing up with the Skywalkers since day one. He's been messing up with them. Like, it just seems to be his thing, which I love Obi-Wan, but
so he's like, is Darth Vader my father? And we all at the edge of our seat, like, we're gonna know.
Here it comes.
Yeah, he's like, rest. I gotta get some rest.
Your father, he is.
Father, he is. He couldn't even look Luke in the face to tell him.
Yeah. Unfortunate this is. He's like, unfortunate that I
He's
know
like,
the truth.
told you, did he?
Yeah.
He's like, unfortunate I know the truth. Fortunate that you gotta face him again, man. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I can't face my own father.
Oh, snap. We did.
Oh, yeah.
There's a break. Yeah, the Emperor shows up. Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Yeah, so after the Millennium Falcon and X-Wing split, we go back to the Death Star with the first time seeing a physical. Thank you for catching us. I get excited and I jump ahead. It's like the first time that we've seen the Emperor in flesh, I guess, right? The Emperor in flesh.
Yeah.
And Vader kneels again in front of everyone. You know? And he's like, stand up, old friend. You know.
It just kind of shows you, and this is the coolest part, it really shows you the power structure of the Empire at this point. It's the Emperor, then it's Vader, then it's everybody else. It's none of the stuff that we saw with the boardroom in A New Hope. There's none of that. It's Emperor, Vader, and then everybody else.
I think looking back on that, I think Vader was in charge, but that he was on a mission to get the plan. So he kind of was like letting, Moff take the, Moff was in charge of the Death Star. So it kind of was like, I get the power. I think if Vader would have stepped in and said, we're going to do it this way, Moff, they probably would have a little tussle. But I think Vader was like, I got to find the plan. That's what I got to do. I got to find the plans. Because he was mocked about it in A New Hope. They're like, your force didn't help you conjure up the plan. So like that was his mission, and he had to get that done first. But yeah, I Vader probably could have pulled rank if he wanted to, but that's also shows the elegance. You know what I mean? The elegance of the power structure of the Empire too.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, is it the Emperor was like, you still want to go find your son?
Yeah, I sense that you still want to find young Luke Skywalker.
He's like, he will come to you and you will bring him to me. He will come to me. I have foreseen it. I have foreseen it.
He was so good because, like, dude, Ian McDermott, that was like, yeah, that was 20 some odd years before the prequels. I mean, he was young under there, and he just plays him perfectly to a T. His voice, everything. He's absolutely perfect.
I couldn't agree more. And imagine like being a stormtrooper, seeing like this is the guy that's in charge of everything.
Bro, I could shoot him right now if I could aim.
Like he looks like a big glow in the dark booger with a cape on. It's like that's him. That's the guy like we're scared of. Like I'm more scared of Darth Vader than Vader's kneeling before him in front of all of us.
I'm afraid the shield generator will be quite operational when you're...
You skipped ahead again.
I know. I just can't help it. That clip just absolutely kills me.
Brian says, has Jay actually seen Return of the Jedi? He hasn't gotten any lines correct. This is the one movie I didn't watch before because I have been very busy promoting this book. By the way, if you haven't bought the book, please pick it up. Anyway.
Let's get a link in the chat. Mods, can anybody
So-
drop the link for
Thank
Jay's
you.
book? By the way, I mean, we've got 66 people in here. If we can get even just like 5 people in here to buy that book, how close are we to 48 right now? Or
Less
47?
than 200.
200 away. Okay. Less than 200. Let's get some blue balls in the chat. Moderator, can we drop that?
Appreciate it.
If you want to drop it in the private. Let's take a little break for a second.
Man, I'm just warming up.
I know. We have a little ways to go, man. Things only get spicier from here.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot to unpack in this film.
Yeah. And it only gets better. The crescendo for this film, dude. My God. Do you drop it in the private?
Yeah.
Beep. Order 66 people in the chat. There is an Indiegogo link in the chat right now. Go check it out, at least. Take a look. Get some traffic on the website. I want you to go look at it. Jay himself has got a 200 plus, right? 200 plus page graphic novel.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to tell you what. This is perfect. Why don't you give a little spiel? I'm going to be right back.
Okay. So yeah, so if you guys wouldn't mind checking out the Indiegogo project, it's been a 3-year plan putting this together, and I don't think it could have come on a better time with a lot of our stories just like getting wrecked, and some of the stuff that the young people have to look forward to is not good. So me and several people came together, and we built a world, and we built some stories around that world, and this is the first one. So this one is called Blue. Achromatic means without color, so it's kind of like you have to understand where it's going. So this one is about a boy named John who lives in this place, and he doesn't understand it, and he develops a unique friendship with the color blue that takes him on an adventure where he finds his purpose in the world that he lives in. And once you pick up the book and you see it, you'll know immediately what's coming next. You'll know immediately what's coming next. It's been a passion project of mine for some time, and I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. The people that have got it already have said that it's very well paced and well read. That's why it's so big. Over 200 pages. So it's a graphic novel. And if it's not for you, there is an option where you could donate one to a young person that probably can't afford it. I will be hitting the road probably in October and heading up and stopping by Boys and Girls Clubs. And I'm going to vlog it all so you can see it all, where your donated book goes. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year with Achromatic Chronicles. So thank you for letting me talk about this on your channel, bro.
I have actually a better surprise for you.
Oh,
I'll tell you after the stream. How about that?
okay. You can't do that to a live audience, though. It makes them angry.
Oh, sorry to drive you all into a fit of rage.
Yeah.
So we're right at the point now. Okay, so I mean,
all right. So we're still on the Emperor. We got to see the
Emperor.
Emperor the first time. Vader. And Vader gives Darth Vader, okay, you can pursue your son, and you're gonna bring him before me, and that's gonna change everything.
Shit.
What? I see that.
Bro just edged us.
I saw.
Stick around to the end. I'll tell you that. Right when we get to the end, I'll let you know.
I'm angry. So those are some of my favorite scenes in Star Wars, because the set, probably the way they built the set, all the people standing at attention. I'm just saying though, imagine your first day joining the Empire. Honey, I got the job. Where are you working?
I got the big promotion.
It's at the space station, baby. You're not gonna believe this. We're gonna finally get to be able to move to a bigger place. I just got to do a 6-month tour, and then I'm done, and then we're gonna get stationed.
I told you I'd get us off this backwater planet.
And you're sitting in there like, what's going on here? Why is it shaking around? Why is the alarm going off? And
oof.
Luke probably killed like 1 million people.
Yeah, easily. I don't remember what the crew on the Death Star was. It was like 5 million or something. I mean, it was a lot.
It's a lot of.
Yeah.
And listen, man, they're freaking parking the Falcon and Star Destroyers in that thing like it's nothing.
Yeah. There's an equator.
That's right. There is an equator in that thing.
Okay.
So
I feel like we
yeah,
got
that's
off track
pretty.
here.
I think that's like those are kind of the funny jokes. All right, take care, Brian. Hey, much love to you, brother. I can't wait to
Missed
hang
it.
out with you, man, when I get out to California. Brian's like my brother from another mother.
He just makes fun of me.
We're all
for
gonna
how
go
bad I
golfing.
golf.
Brian, me, you, and X-Wing all go golfing.
That'd be stellar. I'm up for it. 100%.
You love Brian. He's a good dude.
I'll play Scramble. Brian can be my partner.
I call it Captain's Choice. So,
Captain's Choice, Scramble, whatever.
yeah.
We all suck
Anyway.
anyway.
All right, so now let's we'll go back to the regular timeline, which is Luke at Dagobah, and Luke is asking, "Is Vader my father?" He's like, "Told you, did he?" Unfortunate this is. Unfortunate that I don't know who my father is, and he's like, "It's unfortunate that you got to face him again." You know, and Luke's like, "I can't really do that," you know, and then Yoda's like about to die, but then Yoda says, "When I die, the last of the Jedi you will be." Teach, train, like
Pass on what you
pass
have
on
learned.
what you have learned. Yeah, that's such an emotional scene. And he's like, "Luke, there is another Skywalker.
There is another Skywalker." There's so many good deaths in this. So many good deaths. It's Rissman's controversial take that sequels Yoda is better than Return of the Jedi Yoda. More impactful.
I think I could kind of agree with that in different ways. I think
Get where he's coming from.
I think the original Yoda is a defeated Yoda. Is one that couldn't get the job done, so he's wrestling with his own demons, where he's like, I can't, because if it was me, I'm like, Luke doesn't know Yoda, lightsaber wielding Yoda. He doesn't. All he knows is that he's a teacher,
right?
And so in Luke's mind, he probably is thinking, everyone got to go to Dagobah for these trials, like that's just where the home base is.
I don't think so. I mean, he said he's been training Jedi for 900 years.
I know.
Like,
but Luke doesn't know anything about the Jedi Temple. Doesn't know anything about that. He knows a little bit about the Clone Wars that his father fought in the Clone Wars back in the day.
Dude, he must have learned something when he was doing training on Dagobah. Something.
You see, now you're assuming an assumption. I'm just telling you, if I'm Luke,
want to take it back to 6th grade, Jay? Does it make an ass out of you and me?
If I'm Luke and I'm there and I'm training, and there's the dark side of the Force and the tree and the cave and all that stuff, it wouldn't. I would kind of think that this is part of like the training for a Jedi to come in and come to a terrible place and face your fears, away from everything else. So. Because honestly, if I knew that Yoda was a lightsaber wielding, butt kicking, I'm like, hey, you're getting in the X-Wing with me, all right?
Yeah, we got shit to do.
Like, we're going together. Like, you're coming with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
that.
You're a little guy. I'm just gonna grab you and throw you in the X-Wing, and you're gonna like help me along this journey. So, but no, he leaves Yoda in his home, and then so Yoda dies, and Luke's like walks outside, and he's kind of contemplating, and then it's Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan shows up.
Well, he looks back at the hut, and the lights go out. That was heartbreaking for me. Forever silent, because no one's ever gonna grace that door again. That's it. That's the true end of the original Jedi.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that were on Coruscant, the Jedi temples, all that stuff. And so now the pressure's on Luke to start from scratch, man. And he's older, he's not younger. He's a human, so it's like he doesn't live 900 years. He doesn't have 900 years to do it. So then now we have Obi-Wan that shows up, and they have a conversation. He's like, Yoda spoke of another. He's like, Yoda spoke of your sister, and she's hidden for various reasons. He's
I
like,
don't have a
Leia.
twin sister. Oh, that's right, Leia. That makes sense.
Yeah. And so he's like, God, I kissed my sister not too long ago. Leia.
Good thing you didn't bring that back up in casual
Leia's my
conversation.
sister. Yeah. I could see Obi-Wan. Hey, I've been watching you.
Yeah, you know
I
you
was
made out with her,
there.
right?
I was there when you kissed your sister.
Star Wars Obama.
So Obi-Wan kind of laid it out, and Alec Guinness filmed that in like 20 minutes, and he was done. He hated it. Didn't go to the premiere. Hated it. He
says like he says the most untrustworthy thing in the world, though. Like, I feel like this is the hard thing, is like, Guinness as Kenobi is always going to be my Obi-Wan, but
of course
he was manipulative as fair. What I told you is true from a certain point of view.
Yeah.
Looks like from a certain point of view, you dick. That's my dad. That's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then after that,
he's like, I can't kill my own father.
Yeah,
he's like,
well, then the Emperor already won.
That's manipulative. Yeah, he's like, well,
he's gaslighting his ass. Yeah, I guess that's
the
it.
Emperor's already won.
I guess I'll go retire to space Brazil. Live out my days as a space
I'm
ghost.
a Force ghost, so it doesn't matter to me. You go do what you want to do.
He though talked.
He does put a lot of things in Luke's head, and then and then now it's now we're back with the rebels. Han's back in true form. Everybody's cleaned up. Lando, everything's ready to go.
And we get the third female in all of Star Wars.
Who?
At least the original trilogy. What are the 3 females in the original trilogy?
Help me out. Aunt Beru, Princess Leia, Moff Gideon, like the lady.
Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma. Yeah, I can't stand that character now because every time I see her, it's Nancy Pelosi. I've been calling her Nancy Pelosi since Andor now, so it's like it messed up my.
This is why you can't read news articles, dude. It'll ruin everything. It'll ruin everything.
Ruin everything for me. I hate it. Many Bothams died giving us this information.
Many Bothams died.
I don't think we ever saw a Bothan either. They're like blue dogs.
Yeah.
Mon Mothma, the day drinking Karen.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, how could I forget Ula? We'll call it 4. I don't know if we want to count Ula.
The dancer.
Yeah. I guess that counts.
If you do the special edition, does the creature with the big lips that was singing, does that count as okay?
No.
So they're back with the Jedis, and the plan.
Ice noodles, that's right.
The plan starts to take place, right? And they're like, well, we're, these people are going to go here. These people are going to go here. And they're like, we're going to have a crew sneak down on the forest moon of Endor and turn off the shield generator. And Leia's like,
what crazy
idiot
asshole signed up for this?
And he's like, they're like, General Solo, stand up.
I guess I'm a general now.
He's like, I got the grunt troops pretty much, but I don't have the regular normies that are with me. And Chewie's like, what? I'm with you, man. He's like, I didn't want to speak for you, pal. Leia's in, everyone's in, and then Luke shows up.
Yep.
You can count on me.
And
goes right to Leia, gives her a hug, and she's like, what is it? Ask me another time. I'm still processing this whole sister.
That was just such a cool moment too. I mean, that basically eliminates like any idea in your mind that Han was just a selfish dude anymore. Like he's fully committed.
His story arc was perfect, man. It was full circle.
Yep.
And then to make it even better, him arguing with Lando saying, "You got to use my ship. We got to win. We've got to freaking win, Lando." He's like, "I
Yep.
didn't want it." He goes, "Shut up. That's the fastest ship. You're going to need all the help you can get. That is the ship." At this time now, we're 3 movies in, and like we talked about this before, the Millennium Falcon has its own personality. It's its own character. We have feelings for the ship. You know, we don't want anything to happen to it. And Han sets the tone. He's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, I don't think
I got
I'm
a
gonna
funny
see
feeling
her
I'm never
again."
gonna see her
Yeah,
again.
he's like, it could be. And now you're like, oh God, no, they're not.
Yeah, dude, that sets up like, oh shit, this might not be the happy ending we're all thinking it's gonna be. Yeah, and Lando's like, "Don't worry, I'll bring it back without a scratch."
And he's like,
like, I turns around, not a scratch, right?
yeah, he's like, I love the man when Lando gives the send off. I'm like, no, they're gonna kill off Lando.
Yeah.
They're gonna kill off Lando because he's like, good luck.
And I love to, you know, it's weird. I'll pull this up. I want to present this really quick because it was something that they did so well. Like just the artists on these movies. It's just a painting, man.
I know. Where's that painting now? I want it in my house.
Oh my, could you imagine how many untold thousands of dollars that painting would be worth? And what's so funny is so much of that stuff, definitely not towards Return of the Jedi, but certainly A New Hope and some stuff on Empire. A lot of that stuff wound up in the garbage. It's ridiculous, man.
Yep. That was such a it's just amazing to me to see the story arcs from these characters. You have Lando, who was in charge of Cloud City. He was, I guess, a politician. He was a businessman.
No, he was a womanizer that only wanted to get into somebody's pants.
Yeah, that's why you're not a Star Wars fan. And so, and he was all these things, and yet, after he rescued Han Solo and Princess Leia, and they got all back together, he was immediately given a general. Like he was like promoted, you know, and he took this thing seriously.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I'm a good pilot. You're gonna need Lando, man. And then Han's like, I gotta give him the best ship. He knows the Falcon. He knows how to use it.
Yeah.
If we're gonna win, he's got to have the best. And I know it's just so cool because it was hard for Han to do that.
Dude, he's tearing his soul out of his chest.
Yeah,
For the cause,
so
man.
It just was so cool. And then Han, who I would have thought would have taken Lando's role, and then Lando gone on the ground, Han was like, I took the more challenging task because we have to get that done. Going into the Death Star and blowing it up, we need the fastest ship, but it's going to be difficult to blow up the freaking base down there. So I'm going to take that on my hands to do that, so everyone has a chance to win. It's just such a cool story arc because we went from scoundrel, I just need money, to I have the most important mission of the entire Rebels, you know, on my shoulder. I have the most important mission. If I don't get this shield down, it's over. We don't get another shot at this. Yeah. I lose everything. And so for Han to take that on just shows such an incredible character arc in his story. It's awesome, man. It's freaking awesome. I love it. And so
it's so good for like kids too, because everybody wants to be the rogue, you know, the badass, the gunslinger, and all that different stuff. And then by the end of it, you see this connection grow where you're like, there are more important things. And the most important thing is family, right? Which I feel like is an overarching kind of theme in Star Wars for sure. But even if you don't have a direct family, you know, the people that you love, the people around you, you should be willing to give everything to back them up, dude, when things get rough. And that's what he does. He lets go of his material possessions, the only thing he really has, because the Falcon's his home. That's it. That's all he and Chewie has, and he lets it all go to do the right thing.
Good.
Yeah.
What a lesson to be learned today from everyone. For the greater good, man.
It's a heavy thing.
So then Shuttle Tidarian takes flight. And you've got, you know, Han and Luke and the whole crew is together.
Casual. That's my favorite line in all of Star Wars.
What's that? Oh yeah, fly casual. That's pretty good. They're like, it's an older code, sir, but it checks out. And then Luke is like, I should not have come.
Yeah.
And he's like, Vader's on that ship. And Han's like, hey, man.
Relax, bro.
Calm down. Chewie, fly casual. He's like,
I love how Vader does the dog thing. You know, like when somebody's walking up to your front door, there hasn't been a noise made yet, and your dog's just like,
yeah.
It's like, oh shit, he knows. Fly casual.
He's like, Commander, what's going on with that ship? I was gonna clear them, sir. Do they have a code clearance? I have a code. It's an older code, but it still checks out. And so then he's like, should I clear them? Leave them to me. You're like, oh snap.
He knows.
Leave them to me. And Luke is like, Vader's on that ship. He's like, nah, stop worrying.
Yeah.
He's like, don't fly close to them. But then fly casual is pretty funny. The scene, though, is really cool because that ship is flying like right behind a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And you could see it just looks pretty. You got like the Star Destroyer in the background, and it's just kind of it's such a beautiful.
There's a lot going
scene.
on in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful space scene. And then it's like, all right, you're cleared. We're gonna take the shield down. And Han's like, I told you.
See?
Works perfectly. And off they go to Endor. And oh my gosh, what a
look at this. Look at how beautiful this is, man. Just absolutely gorgeous. You got to remember, this is 1983.
Yeah, it is a cool scene.
That's just so pretty. It's an older code, but it does check out. Oh, I went too far. All right, well, we got to see the cool scene.
It was cool. It was cool to see them flying and all that stuff. So now they get to Endor, and they got to figure out what to do.
Endor is like, it might be my favorite place in Star Wars throughout the whole 3 movies. I love it because it's so familiar. It feels like it could be alien. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So they're hiking through the jungle, and Cody's with them.
Yeah. Cody's with them. It's canon now.
I thought that was kind of cute.
I don't mind that at all.
I don't mind it either. He's older now. He's still trying to do his duty.
Yeah.
And they come across some scouts. So like, there's some speeders over there. And Han is like, me and Chewie will handle this. They're like, be careful. Hey, it's me.
Classic Han. Hey.
Such a great line. And then for some reason, Han steps on the loudest stick in the galaxy. When he steps on, like, crack. He's been tromping through the forest the whole time. He gets all the way up to this one stick, and then, hey! And then off they go. Leia, powerful Leia, sees the other two take off, and they're like, hey, man, they're going to ruin the whole freaking mission.
Yeah.
Leia doesn't take orders. Leia doesn't ask for help. This is what I loved about her. She's like, the mission. Gets on the speeder and goes after them. And Luke is like, hey, Leia, wait. You know what I mean? It's like,
no time for thinking, bro. We got to get those guys. Yeah.
It's awesome.
God knows if she's ever been on one of those bikes or anything. She's just like, it takes off into the forest.
And at the time, I think it's such a cool scene. It's like we're speeding in the, that would have been an awesome ride at freaking Galaxy's Edge.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Speeder bike ride.
They did, and I haven't ridden it yet, but I mean, they did the, what was it? It's like Hagrid's motorbike adventure.
Yeah.
Even if you did something like that, I don't know if you like sit on that like you're on a bike.
It's like riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, so if you did something like that, or like the Tron ride, and you just did it through, which wouldn't be that hard to do. I mean, it'd be a big building, I guess. But what do you have to do? Make a bunch of fake trees and plants? Like, not that.
Not only that, like, well, they could even do it like they did with Avatar: Flight of Passage.
I wouldn't be happy.
Oh, so what we have now is good?
That's not what I said.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I would be happy with that.
Just like a coaster, man. Just I mean, you kind of get that with like Star
If they were
Tours
gonna
and
do a
stuff like that.
coaster, they need to do the trench run with an X-wing or something.
Oh,
They kind of do that in Star Tours, but
yeah.
you know,
For feasibility's sake, to be honest with you, man, just making like a forest setting, having you sit like you're on a speeder bike and just launching you at 100 miles an hour would be more than sufficient for me. You know, it's a minute ride at blistering speeds, winding through trees and stuff like that. I'm happy. You put some speakers and just absolutely blast the music with the speakers. You know, maybe a couple red flashes here and there. I'm happy.
he's happy.
I'm not that hard to please, man. So anyway,
So they're off on the speeder. We get these awesome scenes. Han, we get to see the other cool thing that we got to see that a lot of people don't remember is we got to see the crossbow from Chewbacca shoot.
the bowcaster.
You never got to see, you never got to see that really, except for right there. He just kind of like takes one out. Han is fist fighting one. Takes
He's
him
doing judo throws, man.
Yeah.
Han gets yeeted too. Remember, he gets backhanded and he like flies backwards. Yeah.
Finally gets him beat, and then we go to Luke and Leia, and they're just zipping, man. And he's like, "All right, jam their comlink, center switch." You know, Leia's like just chasing them. Like you have no idea where they're going. They could be going to like 100 troopers. You have no idea. She's just chasing them. She doesn't want to ruin the mission. They get up to one. Luke finally throws one off and gets on his own, and Luke's gets caught,
Mm-hmm.
and he jumps off. And then we get one of the coolest lightsaber scenes that we've seen so far in Star Wars.
So sick.
Where Luke just kind of stands up in the force. He's like, you hear that thing extend? And the trooper like kind of goes in hard. He's like, oh, I got him. I'm about to kill him. He's like, and he does the 1-2 block cut. You know, it's like
it's the bull in the matador and just cuts the front off of that thing. And then
yeah, he blows up.
That was so much fun.
Cool. So now Luke doesn't. So now great storytelling again. Luke does not have a speeder. We've seen that they've been going 1,000,000 miles an hour. So how far away are they right now?
Are you?
And then we get to Leia, and Leia's just doing like some techniques to where she finally gets him to crash into a giant tree. Leia loses her speeder.
Yeah, she jumps off, and the dude hits the butt end of a stump.
Yeah. So now they're both stuck. So now we get the introduction to the Ewoks.
Full disclosure. What are your thoughts?
Ewoks?
Yeah.
I had no problem with them.
Okay. Would you have preferred to have Wookiees? Because that was the original plan.
Ooh. That would have been on Kashyyyk then.
No, they wanted Wookiees on Endor. That was the original plan, was to have the Wookiees.
I think George needed a comic relief, and the Ewoks served that purpose.
Think so?
For Endor, at least, anyway. Han had some comedy in there, too, where he's like, I'm going to hotwire this thing. He might have been looking into the future as far as, like, cuddly plushies, maybe an Ewok spin. He did. They did do an Ewok movie. It was kind of... the thing that made the Ewoks, in my opinion, better is that the fact that people didn't realize that they were eating people.
They're bloodthirsty little savages, bro.
So they're like little cuddly bears that literally were going to eat people.
So I guess unpopular opinion, I love the Ewoks.
Okay. I didn't hate them. I don't think I'd want to change them.
I see everybody's like, dude, Wookiees over Ewoks, Wookiees over Ewoks.
I get that, but Wookiees don't eat people. So it's like they were able to...
That's the thing. And like, it wouldn't make sense to me that you would have, I mean, I guess you could make it like another tribe or whatever, but it wouldn't make sense to me that you've got Chewie, who's a Wookiee that can pilot starships, communicates with humans. He's like advanced and all these different things. And then you've got this whole planet full of Wookiees who like eat stormtroopers. So I kind of love them because it reminds me like Jurassic Park and the Compies, where you have these super cute, unassuming things and they're literally eating stormtroopers. Like they're psychotic little savages. I think it just makes more sense. And I really like it. And I know from having listened through it that the original plan was Wookiees, but it just didn't work. And that's not what they were going to go with. So they did Ewoks. And we wouldn't have Warwick Davis, man. So
I
feel blessed.
I'm stuck with Ewoks.
Well,
like
we're all stuck with Ewoks.
I like the Ewoks because so then, you know, we have Leia out in the forest and she meets Wicket. She gives him a cracker. He sniffs the bad guys. One puts a gun to Leia's hair, and then the Ewok hits him in the shin, and you know all that stuff. And so then Leia's gone. Luke then goes back to base, while Han and them look bored. You know, they're looking bored, and they're like, "Where's Leia?" She's like, "Oh, she was with you."
Yeah,
like she didn't come back here. He's like, "Ah, oh, great. Now we gotta wait. Now we gotta take more time and go get Leia.
You gotta go find
him."
Yeah.
So he looks at the troops and like. Just wait here. We'll be back one day. So they go out and to try to find Leia. They bring R2 for the scanners and all that stuff. And just to kind of speed it up a little bit, they can't find her on the scanner, but Chewbacca finds some kind of dead moose hung up in a tree.
Snacks.
Yeah. So then
hella
it's like
snacks.
Freaking Chewie, always thinking with your stomach. The only person that said don't touch it, it was like Luke. He's like, hey, wait, don't touch that. He touches it. They're caught up in a big net. And Luke is like, hey, Han, can you reach my lightsaber? He's like, yeah, sure.
Don't touch me there.
And R2D2 like just saves the day. He cuts open the rope and they
put sparks on that rope.
Yeah.
That part never made sense to me.
They fall to the ground and they're surrounded by, and Han was about to start blasting them in the face.
Yeah.
Now you wonder, Chewbacca could have punted them, 100 yards. Probably could have, chucked
they would have
them.
murphed him up though, dude.
Yeah. Well, it was Luke. It's interesting how Han listened to Luke here. He was just like, Hey, Han, don't do it. Like, give him your weapon. We'll be all right. And then
I feel like this was, and this will play into a little bit later in the discussion. I feel like there was a little bit of Yoda bleeding through in Luke. Judge me by my size, right? There's a reason he's come across these little boogers. Let's not kill them.
So I also think the reason why we needed Ewoks was specifically for C-3PO to have some importance in the film. Because without C-3PO, I don't think the Wookiees would have worshipped C-3PO. If the Wookiees were there, they'd probably talk to Chewbacca.
Right.
And the story would be a little different. The fact that when C-3PO wakes up and they think he's a deity, George found a way to make sure that every single person of the big five or whatever had some important role that played a part in the film. That's why everybody, you know what I mean? Like, was important. So C-3PO, they think he's a god. They bring everybody in. They worship him, and we get. Then Leia comes out, and Leia's like, "No, don't kill them. They're my friends. They don't understand." And Han's the first one to get cooked. Han's laying there. And it's kind of funny because they're like, C-3PO, tell them that if they don't release Han, you'll be mad.
Yeah.
And he tells them, Porato Bush. And they're just like, bring big fire, And he's like, great, thanks. So then he's like, tell them you'll use your magic if they don't let us go. He's like, what magic, sir? I don't know. He's like, just tell him, you freaking droid. So he uses magic. Han uses the Force. He floats around and they worship C3PO. They release everybody and off they go. And it also is a cool part because they couldn't do this without the Ewoks. So if they didn't think C3PO was a god, they probably wouldn't have joined the army.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
It's
like
all
it plays
connected,
in.
man. Lucas finds a way to connect. I say this a million times, and I don't want to deep dive into this. If you take Finn and Rose Tico completely out, every scene that they are in The Last Jedi, it doesn't
Don't change a damn thing.
If you take C3PO out, that scene, then they don't have a god to worship, and they probably end up eating Han. What I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's like there's so much that is so complex, and
everything has a purpose,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything has a
made
purpose.
Lucas, as far as storytelling, like top tier, you know. Yeah. So then they tell the story. They tell the tale. This and that. And
Luke Skywalker. We get the unabridged version where 3PO is doing the sound effects. Was that
funny.
Was that there? Or was that the end?
No, he's telling the story of like Tico Carbon, and then like Wicket starts rubbing his leg, you know, and he's like, "Wonderful, we're now part of the tribe." And he's like, "All right, hey, tell him this. Hey, tell him this. Hey, tell him this." Meanwhile, like the army's probably camping somewhere. Like, are they ever gonna come back? And then we get the scene. Leia to Luke. Hey, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? You know? And they start to talk a little, and oh man, it's like, I gotta leave. Vader's here. He can feel my presence. And Leia's like, why don't you, for the first time, she's like, shows a little weakness, like, run away. Like, go somewhere where he can't find you.
Yeah.
Because basically she was saying that because I care about you. I don't want.
Well, she's gonna die.
But the thing is you're talking to Leia, who stood toe to toe with Darth Vader in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you know, he's like, Leia, there's something else I gotta tell you, and you're not gonna be happy about it. The Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. And my sister has it. And she's like, Darth Vader's my father? What?
Truth bomb.
What the hell is even that?
Exactly. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I'd be freaking out a little bit. Like, okay, all right, hold on here, Flyboy. Wait a minute.
So he's like, I gotta go face him alone. And he's like, Leia, listen, I can win him back. I can bring him back. There's good in him. I can bring him back. Let's get this job done and everything. So Luke takes off, and Han comes out. I was like, hey, you okay?
I'm super jelly.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, he goes, oh, you can tell Luke, huh? Can't tell me?
That's fine. I don't mind.
He was a little rude, man. And
he was hella rude.
You just found out my dad is Darth Vader.
You can tell he's a cocky little bugger, man.
My dad blew up Alderaan, where all my friends and family were, right in front of me. My dad did that. So she's just like, hold me.
Hold me.
Yeah. There it is, man. That's like,
this is the beginning of my top tier Luke right here. Top tier Luke and top tier Vader. This is where it all starts.
Explain.
Because starting now, he has the conversation with Leia. He goes to Vader, and then you essentially have this, like, you have a breakdown, not a deconstruction, but you have like some sort of wall comes down for Vader. And now all of a sudden he's not this militant man marching around. He's just talking to somebody, like a person. You know what I mean? He's talking to his son. It's too late for me. He's talking about things like it's very factual, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's interesting because I feel that Luke, this entire time, is on a suicide mission, that he's going to die in the Death Star. He's going to distract the Emperor and Vader. Even though Vader will come back, I think he just kind of like, I don't care if I die here. Like, I know what's going on. The rebels are coming to blow this thing up.
He's accepted his fate.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think is going on here. So he gives himself up. There's Vader, and then he accepted that he's father, and then he triggers Vader a little bit. He goes, I believe my dad was once Anakin Skywalker. He's like, hey, that name.
You can't use that word.
I see you've constructed a new lightsaber. And Vader's like playing with it and pushing buttons. Dad, come on, Dad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. That's the first time we see Vader as not Vader. We see him as kinda Anakin. Kinda.
And we don't see Luke as Empire Strikes Back Luke. We see Luke the Jedi.
Yeah. So you have Luke, who's completely accepted his fate that he may probably die at this point. And then you have Vader, who's kind of comfortable in his victory at this point, that he's got him.
But you have to understand what Luke already knows. So Luke doesn't see death as everybody else sees it, because he's already seen Obi-Wan comes back and hangs out with them.
Yeah.
Yoda didn't really die. He was absorbed in the Force too. So if he can get his dad back, then maybe both of us can be sucked into the Force and have a relationship. You know,
like
maybe
take me a Christian who's already met God before he dies.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like,
so
no,
maybe
I'm
he's thinking
sure.
like, maybe Dad could take me to the ball games all those years we've missed as Force ghosts. We could play catch. You know,
with pairs, just like him and Mom.
So Vader scolds him and is like, that name has no meaning for me. And Luke gives him the ultimatum. Vader's like, well, I'm going to take you before the Emperor. And he's like, I'm not going to turn on anyone. You're going to have to kill me.
Yep.
And Vader, it's cool because Vader doesn't really back down to that threat. He's like, well, that's your destiny, son. You know,
then that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, but Luke was just kind of like, yeah, there it is. That name has no more meaning. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
I'm not going to play anything.
Alive. Okay.
Yeah.
People love to come back and rewatch these. They tell me all the time. Don't screw it up.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Hey, that name has no... It is such a powerful moment here because you don't know what's going to happen. But basically, Luke is like... His whole verbiage is like, soon I'm going to be dead and you're going to be dead with me. You're going to have to kill me. But also, Luke also thought that his dad wasn't going to take him before the Emperor.
Well, when he's
like, I'm
going to do it.
I sense the good in you, man. I sense the conflict. He's like, there is no conflict, you know?
It is too late for me.
Yeah, he's like, Obi-Wan once thought as you do.
Yeah, that was such a good line.
Yeah, get I just smoked some weed, Luke. There you go. That much better.
There we go. Fixed it.
Oh man, and it's so cool because now you're like, he's trying to convince his dad. He's like, Dad, come with me, man. Like, come on. Let's
go play
this,
ball.
Man. Yeah, he's like, you have to do this, man. He's like, you're gonna have to kill me. I know you're not gonna do that. He's like, well, if it's your destiny, off you go.
And then the most heartbreaking line, well, then my father truly is dead.
Yes, that was the next one I was about to say. Then Luke drops the nuke. And my father's truly dead. He learned that one from Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan's the king of making people feel guilty. Well,
he's a freaking gaslighter.
This is what I learned from Obi-Wan. My father's truly dead. So, rough. Yeah, he learned that one from. That was so good.
Oh, dude, the framing, everything about this scene is just so massive. Like, I want a picture of that above my bed. Like, it's just so good,
getting a little weird for me here, but yeah.
Hey, whoa, get your head out of the gutter, my guy. I thought you were the pious one, man.
Right there, he's like, my father's truly dead. And the fact that they went back to Vader to kind of get a sense of how is he feeling after that line.
There's something under that mask going on, and none of us have any idea what it is. At this point, none of us know.
After seeing the prequels, it's like he was in love with Padme. Luke is his only connection back to the woman that he loved. Yep. Doesn't know about Leia, right? And it's like, that's my only connection. Am I really gonna let him die? You know,
There was
like
some questioning here, dude.
absolutely there was, but Vader also knows that the Emperor can sense his feelings. So maybe he was
Yeah.
like, I can't show love right here, or the Emperor will know and kill us both, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Your feelings betray you. Like that's a big
Yeah.
part of this. Like you got to be guarded, dude.
Oh, it was
God,
awesome.
this is good Star Wars.
I know. I know.
So
All
that God tier conversation happens. I'll pull
He
this
takes
down.
Luke. He takes Luke away. So now we're back on Endor, and when they're back at Endor, the rebels show up. Boom, boom, boom. And Han is in the base. You know, the first guy, he throws the book bag on him and he falls over the corner.
Oh, wrong one. There we go.
So then, like, he's putting the he's gonna put the bombs on, but then they go back. Doesn't the Emperor say oh no. He's putting the bombs up, and then the troopers come in and stop it. They were ready.
We go back to the rebel fleet amassing for the attack.
Yeah, and it's like they couldn't get a readout on that thing. They're like, why
Yeah.
can't we get a readout
Is
on
the
that?
shield down? I don't know. The shield's down. Like,
Yeah.
well, we gotta
Let's
go,
just-
dude. It's go time.
Let's fly straight into it and see what happens. So
Oh,
they're all
here.
set. Han gets caught, and they take him outside, and it's over. You know, there's the army there. The Emperor already foreseen it. Like it's over. Oh, you're gonna get struck. And
Fast forwarding.
I'm just saying, dude.
You think Stills would do it?
Absolutely.
Really? Damn shit! I don't take it.
I know. I'm not trying to be a turd, but they've done it before.
I'm a visual guy. I like visual.
I
cues.
know, man. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be that guy, but we weren't really playing the other one either. We were kind of showing stills, and they were shutting that stream down
3 times.
So see, now you lost my train. So they come out. The army is there, just like the Emperor said. Bring the whole army to Endor. Move them to this part. Han is being arrested. They go up there, and Lando's like, "Pull up! All ships pull up." That thing is. They haven't got it
It's
down
operational,
yet.
bro.
No, that's not yet.
That's not yet.
No, he's like, all ships pull up. They haven't gotten. He's like, I can't get a reading. He's like, no, man, they didn't get it. So they pull up and they turn to the left, and then all the TIE fighters come at them. And then the Admiral Akbar's line.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah, it's a trap. So now we go. Ooh, ooh.
Somebody clip that shit.
Leave us. So then we have he walks and he sees the Emperor, and the Emperor's baiting him. And Luke is trying to be all bad. He's like, you want this, don't you? Oh, good. I am defenseless. Take your weapon. Strike me down. And then when Luke wouldn't do it, he was like, that's when the Emperor said, by the way, you're about to see your pitiful friends get blown up from this fully armed and operational, battle station. And no, because remember, they thought it wasn't because it wasn't built yet.
Is it time yet?
For what?
Is it time now?
Okay.
Oh, I'm afraid the shield generator will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
Jeez, you don't have to be a dick about it.
Finally. Yeah,
it's pretty good. That was a great line from the Emperor too, because he was trying to act bro out of order.
I feel like it's out of order, man.
How? What's the order?
He doesn't.
Han gets arrested. The rebels bank off. They run into the entire X-Wing, and then it's the conversation. The conversation happens before the arrest of Han. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Han gets arrested, and then it's a trap.
All right.
And then the Ewoks come in, scatter all the people, and the Battle of Endor begins.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's
You fucking nerd.
Oh,
Sorry, bro. I should have put that. Spoiler alert.
I'm afraid. It's so funny. Your faith in your friend. They take these jarbs back at each other that are really cool. Because Luke thinks he's like, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
You know?
He walks
And
in
he's
so
like,
calm and collected.
your
just gets
overconfidence
owned.
is your weakness. Your faith in your friends is yours. Like the Emperor was just like popping. Like there's nothing Luke could say. And the Emperor was just like pop, like right back at him. You know?
He's the Dark Lord of the Sith, man.
I know, it's so cool because Luke thinks he's got him, but he doesn't. And Luke is also thinking, well, I'm here. Han and them are going to get this thing blown up and we're all going to be dead. So we're going to win. Like the goal is to kill the Emperor. That's the goal. We're going to win. So there we have it. But then he's like, oh, I'm afraid you're friends. You know?
Oh, I'm afraid the shield generator will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
And then he's like, now feel the power of this fully operate. And he starts blowing up rebel ships, and they're like, where'd that come from?
Lando's like, that thing's operational.
Yeah.
They blow up a Mon Calamari. I don't remember if they blow up one of the frigates or a Mon Calamari cruiser, but yeah, they yeet one of them. And things start going bad
Admiral
on the
Akbar's
ground,
like,
too.
all crash, prepare to retreat. He's like, we're not going to get another shot at this. He's like, Han will get that shield down. We just got to get him more time. And then it's like, it's all chaos, man. That is the line that starts everything. We got to get him more time. That starts everything. It goes back and forth from Endor fighting to the Rebels fighting to Luke and Vader fighting. Like, it's all happening right after that line because the Rebels are like, hey, man, engage the Star Destroyers, while we're waiting for Han. Han, we all know what happens. Han is down there, and that's when, the Ewoks take over.
Dude, the Ewoks do so much cool stuff in there. I mean, like, my favorite for sure is
I know, I'm just kind of like
crushed.
putting it all together. That was the line. We've got to give him more time, and just like all hell breaks loose, man.
Yeah.
That's the line.
What's your favorite Ewok kill in that whole series? Do you have one?
The two planks, man.
Yeah, dude, the logs crushing the AT-ST is just legendary.
It was great. So the Ewoks show up and everything goes crazy, and Han's still at the base with Leia, and they can't get the door open. So he's like,
stuck.
I can hotwire it. Oh no! They get R2. Where's R2? R2 puts the wrong piece in the hole. How does that happen?
He gets yeeted. All of his panels open up.
Yeah, he put the wrong thing in the hole, and he gets electrocuted. And then Han's like, well, I guess I can hotwire it. And he's messing around with buttons. He's like, I got it. I think I got it.
The blast doors close.
Chewie is with Wicket, and he does the Tarzan scream and lands on top of him.
Never understood that.
Yeah, that was a little. It wasn't needed. That's like having two worlds collide,
Yeah.
It's like that's Tarzan, that's not in Star Wars.
If I could change it, I would.
But there's like we're in between like fighting of the boulders. The ones that was painful is when they pulled the rope out and the speeder bikes guys got choked on the rope. It was like and they get fall down.
A good one.
So they're
slap them down. Little buggers, dude.
They're like throwing rock. Oh, they're thinking buffet, man. That's all they're thinking. We got a buffet coming, man. Like we got to do stuff. We get dropping rocks. You know, Wicket's got a gun. You know, everything's going great. They get inside of the walker, and he's just tearing them down, man. There was a little scene where they played a little sad music where some of the Ewoks were dying.
Yeah.
You know, but
they kept it short though.
They kept it short, and Chewbacca in that walker just walked up to the first walker and just shot it, blew his head off.
I take it back. My favorite kill is the lasso. You remember the Ewok
on the speeder, and it was like
it tether balls right into the redwood. That was a good one.
That was pretty rough. They get all the way to Leia gets shot. In the arm, nothing big, and then they redo the scene. I love you, I know, because they come there like hands up, hold up, and then she's like,
he's like, game over.
Then the walker,
I know, and she slides the blaster out.
Yeah, I love you, I know.
Yeah.
The walker pulls up and he's like, hey, give up, because
that thing is,
yeah. And then he has an idea. He's like, wait, Chewie, get down here. She's hurt. Wait, stay up there. The weird part was like when Chewbacca was like operating that thing, there was a Ewok there like messing with his hair.
There were two of them.
Yeah, they're like braiding his hair. It was kind of weird.
They're like, whoa, giant Ewok.
I guess so. So then they put some rebel in there. I don't know who it was. And he was like, it's over, sir. We're sending the troops back into the forest. We need reinforcements.
Yep.
And that's how they got the shield open. While this time the rebels are fighting against the Star Destroyer, and we get some cool scenes in space.
Dude, I think my favorite, I don't know, it's cool because you get the Y-Wings, which is obviously dope. A Y-Wing takes out a TIE interceptor, which is like my favorite space kill of probably the entire trilogy, because a Y-Wing has no business taking down a TIE interceptor. And it was crazy. I was listening to some stuff today. They had like 3 chick pilots that were supposed to get like major roles in that space battle, and they ended up actually changing them out because George said that it would be too upsetting for an audience if a lady pilot got killed.
Huh?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Would you have added it or kept it the way it is?
I don't know. Galaxy far away.
One.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
At the end of the day, he's still making these films for a younger audience to enjoy. So if the test group came back saying that would be traumatizing, he probably would have taken it down. I like when they're like, put all shields into the front. I don't want anything to get through.
Yeah. And then what is he? It's in there somewhere. He yells "dickhead."
Yeah.
Right when he hits the tower, "dickhead." That's awesome.
So what was that, like an A? What ship was that?
It was an A-wing.
Yeah, it took out the whole Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
just the bridge.
Right into the bridge.
The bridge like calmly it goes into the Death Star.
Yeah,
and blows up. And that admiral that was on there was in all 3 films, was he not?
Yeah, Piet.
Yeah, that's right. In all 3 films. Then,
he was not. Are you serious?
Nah, I wasn't.
I thought he was I think it was an English guy. Anyways.
I thought he was too. Intensive power forward. Yeah, that's right. It was the ship just spinning.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the throne room scene. And he's like, Luke's watching his friends. And the Emperor is king here. He's like, your friends have lost. Those on the Rebel Moon are lost. Everything's lost. You've lost everything. He's like, I can feel it inside of you. I can feel it. Take your weapon. Strike me down.
His ass, dude. Yeah, they're all close to it. It's sitting right on the side of his chair.
He's like, I'm defenseless. He's like, just take it.
Such a
strike
dick.
me down. And then Luke's like got the turnaround. He's like, He grabs it, man.
He gives in, which I never thought he would do that in that moment.
I think it was watching the Rebel fleet getting blown up by the Death Star, knowing like there could be a problem here, and maybe this is my only chance.
Yeah.
And then Vader stops it. Emperor's laughing, and they get the sword. They get going. So they start fighting, and then, of course, Han blows up the antenna, and now it's Han's job is done. Now it's Lando's turn.
What do you think about this?
Nah.
I mean, not good for the movie, but let's talk.
Vader
theory
wasn't
for a
back
minute.
yet, man. He wasn't back.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready. It wasn't his time. He's still reacting here. Listen, I think if Vader didn't intervene, I don't even think Luke would have got him. I think the Emperor could have stopped him right up to his
I'm kind of with you on that, Bo. Like even if he did, Vader didn't put that saber out, like Palps would have got him.
I think so. And then he might have looked at Vader like, what the frick you
bruh.
Yeah.
How long we've been working together?
Yeah, I know. I think it would have shocked him a little bit. Like, was your battery running low in that suit, buddy?
Let me spice you up a little bit.
I think he could have stopped him.
Yeah, and the whole thing would have fell apart at that point. He might have killed Vader and killed Luke, and like, all right, well, I'll get Leia.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll find somebody else. Sith don't care, man. At that time, Vader is the most powerful, but he was just like, he's like, strike your father down and join me,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was, and this is obviously far, far down the road that this kind of became lore, was that, Palps was super disappointed in Anakin. Super disappointed. He's like, man, I thought I had the baddest dude in the galaxy, and he got defeated. And so he had to deal with the remnants of Anakin, and that's why he kept him in the suit, and he knew he could always beat him, because all he had to do was just throw a little static shock up in there, and Anakin would have been in a world of pain. And Anakin always resented, I should say Vader or Anakin, always resented the Emperor for that. And I think that took a big part in the turn, as we look at the end of the story here.
Well, so now you've got Lando flying into the Death Star and Biggs, right? And
Biggs.
Wait, who was in the TIE fighter?
Who was in the TIE fighter?
I mean the X-Wing. Gosh,
it was Wedge. Wedge took another
sorry.
shot.
Not
Yeah,
Diggs,
Wedge took down
Forgive me.
2.
It's been a long day. But still, the cool thing about that too. Sorry, chat. That's my bad. The cool thing is that the antenna gets knocked off because you're wondering if this thing is going to shrink down.
Yeah,
and they're not going to have any room to fly. It's like, oh my god, is this how it ends for the Millennium Falcon?
Can you imagine how lame that would be
if they just ran into a wall?
So dumb. Like, well, I guess that's the end of that.
It's really wild because in the first movie, they put photon torpedoes down a tube that went to that place where the Falcon and others flew in. They flew in this time
into the reactor. Yeah.
So you got to see like inside the Death Star and
which
everything,
was
and how
so dope. Like, you want to talk about the coolest chase scene in the world, like flying through, and of course, it's perfectly sized for the Falcon to slip through those beams and everything to get through there. But it was just so perfect, and it was so cool. And then you get into the middle of it, and it's just this giant reactor, and you're like, dude, who built this thing? Oh my god!
I like the parts where the Falcon would just turn and it would fit through certain air,
right
and it just was so smooth with it,
Yeah,
and that just made Lando even cooler in my book.
Yeah, slipping right through there.
So it just, because then he was like, hey, can you guys go back to the service? He's like, why? It's like, get some of these TIE fighters off our tail, man. And then the TIE fighters were like bouncing around in there too. Like they couldn't like fly it. And they had a smaller
they were
ship.
getting murphed up.
So then it's back to the throne room scene. And Luke is kind of hiding. And Vader's trying to talk. Vader's like angry. You know,
This
he's
is
like,
it. This is peak. This is peak Star Wars.
and so he's just like, it is pointless to the whole thing. And he's like, huh.
Your thoughts betray you.
Yeah. You can see Luke's face all like
he's cringing.
He's like,
and I don't remember the lines, but I mean, it's you care about your friends.
If you will not turn, you know.
Well, no. It's you care. Yeah, your thoughts betray you. You care about your friends, especially your
sister. So you have a twin sister. Obi-Wan was wise to hide her from me.
Yep.
You know, your feelings have now betrayed her too.
Obi-Wan's failure is complete.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's failure is now. He goes, if you will not turn, then perhaps she will. Trigger.
Never.
And Vader takes a quick breath.
And dude.
Then they fight, happy. Dude. That fight scene was just.
Luke. I mean, it's the music. It's the music. The way they're stepping through. For me, that's like. I think that's my most iconic Star Wars moment ever. As they're like fighting, they're underneath, and they start to move away from the stairs, and it's like, this is it. This is it. This is the end all be all. This is everything. Like, I know they're not going to stop and start talking again. Like, this is it, dude. Is Vader just going to slice Luke in half? Is Luke going to kill Vader? And then now he's got to talk to the Emperor. Like, what is going to happen? And then Jedi's Fury is playing, obviously, at the same time, which is still, I love that piece so much, dude.
It's pretty dope.
Is it no or never? I thought it was never.
I think it's never.
I'm pretty sure it's never.
Yeah, never.
I'm going to feel like a fool if I get this wrong.
No, you're right.
I hope so.
You're right.
No, it's Vader.
Please stop. That's the worst thing ever that happened on Return of the Jedi.
Oof. That's the worst thing ever?
That is, for Return of the Jedi, that was awful. That was God tier awful, man. Okay, so Luke and Vader are fighting, and Luke gets the best of him, man. Cuts his freaking hand off, and he's angry. He's like
swinging for the fences.
And Vader he's defeated again for the second time. I don't count the Kenobi series as a defeat.
Nope, doesn't exist. Not my Star Wars.
The Emperor is laughing and is like, "Good."
He's gravy right now. Like, the Emperor's in power pole position, right?
You don't care about Vader. He's like, if Luke joins me, he's younger. I can train him. He's gonna be stronger. Like, get this robotic man out of here, man.
Yep. And you get the fateful moment. He sees his hand. He knows it's a robotic hand. He looks down at his father and the stumpy wires hanging out, and he realizes, if I continue on this path, I'm going to be exactly where he is.
Yep. That's me. So he literally had to throw his, like, he just like, you've lost.
You've lost, Your Highness.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me. Oh, dude, man. That's king, man. That's king. And he's like, and the Emperor's like, you will not be turned?
Have it your way, Jedi.
Yeah, it's like, so be it.
So be it,
Jedi. And we're all like, what the frick is that? He can shoot lightning out of his hands.
Where did that come from? That wasn't in the Jedi texts.
Never saw that before. And I love the fact that they didn't cut the scene. They let this whole thing play out. and he's killing him. He's like, "Father, help me, man, help me, please, Father,
So
help
heavy,
me."
dude.
And Vader, like, this is not the new one with the. If they put that one in the theater, I'm gonna be
I don't think anybody would have been bothered by it if it was in the theater release.
No.
Yeah. If it was just there originally, I don't feel like people would have been that upset.
Dude, it's awful. It's laughable. It's comedy. It's awful. No. It's terrible, man. The silence is so much better. Yeah,
I agree.
Vader's like looking back and forth, and he's like, picks up the Emperor. For some reason, the Emperor's just like, still. It's like, what are you doing?
It's like a crab when you put them on their back.
It's not playtime yet. What's going on here?
He's shocking the crap out of him, though.
Yeah, and Vader just gives him the old throwing from right field to home base. And the Emperor's just like, oh!
And he dies there.
Yeah,
he dies. End of story.
Yeah. Because all the evil and stuff just start flying out.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it's so good, man. From there, Luke kind of rolls up and sees what's going on. Then it goes right back to Lando. They get inside the middle of the Death Star. You see this cool scene. They shoot this big globe, and I love how the globe part and the thing, like, it falls and then the fire breaks out. It's like,
yeah. And then we get the classic pre-2000s fireball escape run, which is sorely missed in theaters.
I love it too how they had a TIE fighter die in the fire first.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, is this how it's gonna end? Because it's coming, man. It's coming. It's like the fire overtakes them and they shoot out and everyone's happy.
Yeah, you get the Lando and Nine Nubs.
Yeah, somebody clip that.
I love Nine Nubs. Shit, that was probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
I love Nine Nubs.
We get back to Luke and he's trying to carry his father to a ship. And he's like, help me take this mask off. He's like, you'll die. It's like, let me look at you with my own eyes. Luke's like, well, all right. And the scene we've all been waiting for. What's under that mask?
You can't die. I've got to save you.
Yeah, you already
That was such a heavy moment, man.
Yeah.
You already have, Luke. You already have.
Tell your sister you were right.
You were right about me.
It's wild, man.
Oh, it hurts so much. It hurts
I
so
like
much.
how Luke sees this deformed, white, nasty-looking face, and he puts his hand on his shoulder like, all right, man, my dad.
Oh, good to see ya. I wasn't going to touch that.
Got bumps on his head and gets his dad in the ship, and then Luke leaves.
I don't feel like we gave that scene quite enough respect.
It's heavy duty, man. Go for it.
Where do you start? I mean,
it's
after all these years, you know, now that we've seen the prequels and we've seen the Clone Wars and we've seen everything.
I'm trying to look at it as if we haven't seen the prequels, but
this is the Star Wars we love, though. This is the amalgamation. Okay, let's call it the amalgamation of the six, then.
This is the fulfillment of prophecy.
Right.
This is the balance restored. This is a father redemption story. This is forgiveness. This is
love.
I believe in you. Yeah, it's all that wrapped up right there, man. This is I never gave up on you. My son came back and redeemed me when he didn't have to.
I mean, most people I've talked to have been like, yeah.
You just ruin it with stuff like that.
It's true, though, man. I mean, I still tear up when I watch the end of that because,
it's awesome. It is everything. Yeah, it's all 6 movies. That's the scene. The balance, the prophecy, the training, the stuff. Wait, I'm black.
Dad?
Yeah. Can you explain what happened? Luke, you know, he had to face his father to become a full Jedi. Done. Anakin fulfilled the prophecy. Boom. He brought balance to the Force. Boom. The Emperor and the Empire is done. Boom.
That's it.
Well, I mean, there's remnants of the Empire still out there and stuff like that. But yeah,
Okay,
like,
that's fine. But the story is complete.
yeah, it's
The arc
concluded,
is
man.
complete. That's
It's
it.
done.
We're done. That's it.
It's it. And I think Luke going back to Endor. Luke going back to Endor and setting his father on fire. I remember, like, as Star Wars fans back in the day, we had all kinds of conversations, and it was always like, what if Vader would have lived?
Right.
What would happen?
Yeah.
Is he forgiven? Does Leia forgive him?
Right.
Is he held to trial for killing billions of people?
Hunting down the Jedi, ending the Jedi Order.
Does he help? Does he get forgiven? And he's like, no, this isn't Vader. This is Anakin Skywalker. And we're going to rebuild the Jedi Order. Does Luke hide him and say, hey, I'll be back for you, Dad. We're going to fix things.
You ain't going to hide that thing.
Vader is wounded, right? And I'm just saying, like, he can barely breathe. He's wounded. If he's like, let me go to my friends real quick. We're going to have a party on Andor. I'm going to come back for you. And then we're going to go across the galaxy and figure this out. You know what I mean? Like, there's like, it's a cool conversation to have. The story ended the way it needed to end, but I'm just saying, like, you always play the what ifs, And then
it's an interesting conversation. Yeah. What does happen? Because you're a war criminal. I mean, you're space Hitler at this point, or at least Goering or something like that. I mean, definitely. How are you accepted, even if your son is the savior of the galaxy? What do you do?
I mean, even if he says it was Vader that destroyed the Emperor. You also got to know too, it's like, how does the galaxy look right now?
Well, it's in turmoil still.
Yeah, so it's like, we can't, like, who's going to hold him to trial? The little rebels that were left?
Yeah.
Because basically what happens now is a lot of the systems will go back to self-govern.
Right.
They're not under the protection of the Empire. There's like some self-govern. So maybe they don't need to hold Vader accountable or anything. It's like, well, things have changed. So, it's like there's so much, like, it's such a cool what if story, and it's like, what could Leia forgive him? Like, that's the big thing.
I think she would.
But I think Leia would want to know, tell me about my mom. And it's like, I could tell you about Padme.
So that's like, that starts diving into the things that I wish would have been explored more by Disney. That bleeds into, yeah. So now if we know somebody who knew these characters, if we knew somebody who was around in those times, the most emotional thing you can do is revisit it in a modern era and say, I was there, I saw it, I knew your mom, I knew your dad. I can't tell you how incredible those people were. Which we did get, with a small degree with Kenobi. It was the wrong place to do it. But, I mean, we did get that little moment. And when I tell you that was like the one thing that brought emotions to me, 100% is Obi-Wan telling Leia that. It's just the wrong way to do it.
Does Obi-Wan show up in Force Ghost and talk to Anakin again, saying, and do they all turn on? Do they all look at Obi-Wan and go, you know what, Obi-Wan, a lot of this is your fault, buddy. Why don't you just go back to your little ghost town? We'll take it from here.
I imagine it's a happy story, so they just forget about it. You know what I mean? They're dead. They're in the Force. They're like, you know what? What happened? Whatever.
What?
But if it's me and I come back as a Force ghost and I'm right next to Obi-Wan and Yoda and I'm like,
no, I'm saying if Vader would have lived.
Oh, if he lived.
Yeah. No, him dying and being part, and the good part of Anakin went back into the Force. Yeah. And so I'm good with that. Like, whatever. It, like, Yoda was there. They were all there. The Force was balanced. And see, that's the thing. It's like, you have to understand, in this galaxy, no matter what is fighting back and forth, the bigger picture is the Force has to maintain balance. Like that's
Yeah.
the galaxy of Star Wars.
Well,
It's
and
not.
that's what happened though. So
I know that's what I'm
Vader
saying. Like,
killed
but
Anakin in the prequels, and
what I'm
then
trying to tell
Anakin killed
you
Vader.
is only a select few people in that universe know that.
Yeah.
And so when you look at other things that people are doing, you just wonder, like, is it all for nothing? Because at the end of the day, it's all about the Force and the balance.
It's 100% all for nothing.
So Andor and all that stuff and all that was just kind of casual when it literally comes down to Jedi and Sith.
Yes, that's it. Yin and yang, the spiritual balance of the entire universe, the entire purpose of Star Wars, everything. It all bleeds down to the balance of the Force. That's the only reason Star Wars exists. Yes. It doesn't mean we can't enjoy those stories. But yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with you. That's why when they tell those stories, I don't like them because I don't think it's important. I don't think it's important. I think they are.
It was on purpose this time.
I think they are being like that. All those people, they just get used for the bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean that's really the end of it. And one of the most frustrating things to me, I think, and you know, we don't have to dive into this too much, but I mean it kind of, you know, in summation of Return of the Jedi and the purpose of the films and where we wound up and the balance of the Force at this point is that the Skywalker bloodline served its purpose. It brought balance once again to the Force. You might argue that it imbalanced the Force, which would have been a great setup for the sequel trilogy. I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, my brain. Oh. What was so upsetting was that, you know, in the end of the sequel trilogy, they ended the Skywalker bloodline. That's it. Skywalkers are dead. They're gone. That's it. No more Skywalkers.
But that was their story. That was their story. And if all that we know from the Force is, it will find a way. It will rise up others. It will rise up good and bad and keep balance. Because that's the Star Wars world.
I understand. I just say killing the Skywalker bloodline is a massive mistake.
Well, they didn't because Rey became a Skywalker.
Shut up. Paul Taylor in here for 10. Thank you. You've been awesome in the chat, by the way. I've been watching all this. I haven't been interacting with you guys enough. I've been reading absolutely everything. You guys are...
The chat is always MVP in these streams. I freaking love that they're here.
Paul Taylor for 10. Good stream. You guys have great chemistry. It's all camera. As soon as the camera comes off, trust me, it's not this pretty. I can promise you. He's real catty.
I think there is some cool stories. They do live on through, I mean, if we go EU, the Skywalkers live on through, you know, Han and Leia's bloodline.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to go deeper, Luke changes some of the rules. He's like, Jedi can't get married. Yeah, let's erase that one. You don't need it.
The second he saw that redhead, he's like,
yeah, he's like, there's no other Jedi here to scold me. I'm in charge.
Mace Windu's not going to be around to chide me.
So there's that.
I just think if it were me and I was going to write a sequel trilogy or I was going to continue the story, if I was going to progress, reducing what has happened to the universe back to the original trilogy is a massive mistake. It's a revisiting and deconstruction of the original story. So I had no problems with what they did in Force Awakens because it was just a revisiting of A New Hope. And I'm like, okay, we're rebooting for a new generation. I totally get it. Let's roll with that. But then it all fell apart from there. It all fell apart. and it could have very easily gone very, very differently, with Force Awakens still standing. I blame Rian Johnson.
I think they should have just went right to Thrawn.
As
a Star Wars fan, if they casted a younger Luke, Han, and Leia, I don't know if they followed the trilogy of Thrawn. I think I would be okay with it.
Absolutely.
I don't think I would be. I'd be like, oh man, it would be cool to see Mark, Han, but I think I would. At the end of the day, I think I would be okay with it.
You know, it'd be a really awesome way to do it, to incorporate the old actors, would be essentially them doing the old Around the Fire story. So you're recounting the tales of Luke, Han, and Leia, right? They're old now and they're retelling it. Or it'd be, R2 or 3PO, kind of like in the, end of the Return of the Jedi.
I disagree. I think if you do Thrawn, you continue the story.
Well, you do. So it would be the original characters essentially narrating it, but you recast them. You recast the young version.
I wouldn't. The problem with that, there's no sacrifice there. Because it's like, well, if they're old,
they're all there,
then they're not going to die.
Yeah.
So
I hear
now that you have new characters, there could be more of a risk of of hurting and killing one. Daisy Blossom MVP. Look at that.
We gotta get after these. So
take care of
$10. Ivan, my homie. I hope I get to see you soon in California. I would really like to make it down for when you're going to Universal, right?
I hope so.
And is there a Universal in California?
Yeah, Hollywood. Super Nintendo World's there. That's why I was gonna go.
Yeah, I got to get down there. I got to check that out. I'd love to be able to meet up with you guys down there. We got to swap phone numbers, Ivan. Send me a DM.
Ivan's a good dude. Follow him on Instagram. He does. I talk to him through Instagram Messenger.
Daryl the Derelict for 5. Your memory loss is from a hilarious Trump performance on the VacTube earlier. Great job, buddy, and a great stream, gentlemen. Thank you, buddy. I'm glad to see you here. Glad to have you. I'm surprised you're up this late. Friday. Daisy Blossom Flower Child, member of the channel, good friend of mine, good member of Drunk3P0's community as well. Spreading the love between us two ugly buggers sitting here talking about Star Wars every Friday night. Excellent set of movies and a wonderful set of streams. Thank you both. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing. And
I got to meet Daisy in Vegas. She's awesome.
Did you?
Yeah.
Daisy, I hope you go to the Vegas meetup. I'm going to be there. Come hell or high water, I'm going to be there. Thank you guys so much. Again, chat, everybody, we do this for you. I mean, we do it for us, but we do it for you. I'm so happy to see every single one of you here every Friday night. We've been enjoying the hell out of just revisiting and enjoying and talking about Star Wars for even a small portion of our lives during the week. It's been absolutely magical. I don't want it to end.
Next week, man.
We could put a poll up in the chat. Why don't we
I think next week we do some what ifs and some total, maybe some things we would love to have seen in some of the 6 films and things like that. There's another podcast here with these 6 movies.
Maybe we do, yeah. So do a roundup next week, and then we can take a vote on if we go anywhere or where we go from there.
Someone said Bane trilogy. There's Plagueis, and there's also today we're gonna talk about Princess Leia. Let's boom, boom, boom. This, or whatever. There's a lot of stuff we could tackle. So
I like that.
I like it too.
It works for me. I don't know why Jay keeps showing up around here. He's a fake fan, but God, he talks like he knows what he's doing.
That debacle last week with Empire really showed your true colors, I just want to say. Oh, we can go through Spaceballs. That'd be funny.
Spaceballs would be fun. Yeah, for sure.
KOTOR
I think there's more we can
series.
do. There's more to drag out of this.
We
It's
can
not a
do the
drag, but
2003 Clone Wars.
that would be sick. I'd be super down for that. There's so much good stuff in there. Oh my god, Captain Fordo is just an absolute savage. Like, give me a Captain Fordo sideshow yesterday.
Dude, the Mace Windu scene where he doesn't talk, he steals water from a little kid. He's like, goop, 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 goop.
Or he
He's
beats
just
a
like
B2 battle droid with
smashing
his
battle
fists.
droid. Yeah, it's so good, man.
It's good stuff, man. Yeah, yeah, that would be the most logical next move, would be the Heir to the Empire stuff. But yeah, we've got a lot. There's a lot of stuff to go over. I just want to thank you guys again. These live streams, they bring a lot of joy for me personally, and I'm so happy to see all the joy it brings for you people. I just saw it pop up. My God, Daryl the Derelict gifting 5 X-Wing memberships to Georgie Girl, Beskar Man. Oh, wait, no, that's not. That's in the middle. Nick Coolio, Nova Vaughn. Oh, that was Beskar Man 38, Legion of Maul. Dude. Come on, man. You don't have to be that kind to me. That's my brother. I love Daryl.
He's good people, man.
I love him. You've been on that channel.
Yeah.
Okay. Closing arguments.
No closing arguments here. Thanks for another awesome edition of the Star Wars we love. I mean, there's so many things that we could pull up, like top 10 facts of A New Hope we might have missed and could go over. Top 10 facts of Empire, top 10 things you might have missed in this, things you might have missed in that. There's so many things we can go over. As we could also like rate teaser trailers. Probably won't get claimed for that, for the teaser trailers. You're muted again. He needs to go, folks.
What the heck? We got another gifted membership from Star Wars Dog for Doug. Thank you, Star Wars Dog, my homie. I hope you're not stuck on the crane out there working right now. If you are, I hope we're entertaining you.
I'll be live tomorrow on Drunk3P0 channel at 5 p.m. And can't wait for next week. We'll figure out what we're going to do.
I'll assume everybody here is probably already subscribed to Drunk3PO, but if you're not, please go down to the description, hit that subscribe button. My homie's on his way to 100K. He's going to be there by my birthday. That's what I expect.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's what I expect. All righty.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to say one thing. I forgot to say one thing. I said if you waited until the end,
thank you, Spirian.
We'll do a little dance for this real quick. But I forgot one just a little tiny little detail that I was going to bring up earlier, and I forgot. You've been here now for what, 6 episodes of the Star Wars that we love?
Mm-hmm.
You've donated a lot of your time, which I appreciate greatly. So what we're going to do as just a thank you from the X-Wing community, all of the donations tonight that came from the stream are going to your book. We're going to do them solely as donations.
Dude, don't do that.
Or other. So we're not going to do any physical copies. We might get one for a giveaway, but it's all going to donations so that kids around the nation can read the 6th grade writing that comes from Drunk3P0.
You don't have to do that, brother.
So everybody, thank you so much for your donations tonight. Know that it's going to a good place. It's not going to my beer fund, but I'll stream another time. Make sure you drop a couple $5 here and there because I need some beer. All right, everybody.
Sounds good.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it more than you know, and we will see you again next Friday. Don't forget, tomorrow night, long after Jay is streaming, we're going to be doing a late night with Moff Rissman, talking about a little bit of that Mando 3 because I can't get Jay to talk about it. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.
1 X-Wing? Great. We're saved.